afternoon, and welcome to the Voice of Todd. I'm Tom, and today we're going to take a look at whatever Xbox has up its sleeve for day one of the Gamescom live stream. Let's have a little look, shall we? As we're just getting into this, we're obviously going to open with a trailer. So, let's get the old headphones on. So we're looking at Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal. Nobody cares about that, right? Don't you have phones? Stalker 2 should be good. Atomfall I'm really looking forward to, and a bit of Starfield and some other things as well. I mean, are they still doing stuff for Forza 5? Well, Horizon 5. I haven't played it in years. 4 was my favourite. A hide and seek in 4. I mean, I guess people will play it. It's a beautiful game. It's a truly beautiful game. Yeah, so we're opening with Forza. We've also got Dragonball whatever. Dustborn could be interesting. I vaguely remember Dustborn, so that means I had an opinion on it.
Herzlich willkommen hier aus Köln. Welcome to Gamescom.
For the first time, Xbox Game Studios, Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda are coming together here in Cologne to bring
Everybody's
you
here,
what you
right?
want.
Because there was a
More
Bethesda
new
one.
Games.
And we've
But I
got our
couldn't
work
find it.
cut out for us this week as we showcase the more than 50 titles on display and the many ways to play that makes Xbox the best place for games.
What does the t-shirt say? The button t-shirt. This is my alphabet.
Squad, because with this many titles, we need
like that.
reinforcements.
That's right,
ABXY.
Alina. You need a crack team of gamers willing to play
That's my
and
alphabet
properly
too.
fan out over the latest titles. It's a tough job.
So this is all of the Xbox social media guys, isn't it? The YouTube guys.
Big announcements across Xbox consoles, PC and cloud, plus all the latest titles from Game Pass and PC Game Pass.
You know, in fact, Henry, we've already seen the brand new game mode reveal for Forza Horizon 5.
Oh, it's coming September 10th.
At the top of the show.
Yeah.
And remember,
So
that
that's a
launches
rough
on
day.
September 10th on Forza Horizon 5.
But first, it's over to Charlie.
To help kick off our show, we've got some very familiar faces here with us. It's Sarah
Uncle
Bond
Phil.
and Phil Spencer. Thank you so much
We
for
need
joining
a
us
name
today.
for Sarah.
First question,
Like,
how does it feel to be here
is
at
it
Xbox's
Bond, Sarah
Gamescom?
Bond? Or are we just going to go with?
It is
She's
so
cool.
much energy
She
here.
president of?
It's been fantastic to see
No,
the fans.
she's.
to
I can't
be
remember
part
what
of
her title
Opening
is,
Night
but
Live
she's
last night and to see their reaction. This booth, and I have no
Wallows.
idea why we're calling
With
it
an
a
indie
booth,
hat?
because it's
Nice.
not a booth. It's an entire wonderland.
It really
I'm looking
is
forward
an
to Outlaws next week.
underestimation,
I
really,
really
right?
am.
With experiences, with games that you can play, things you can see, incredible
Whoa.
photo opportunities is fantastic. So to see folks pouring in and experiencing it. And it reminds you of what makes this industry special, which is all about
This is why I
celebrating
wanna go,
games, the
because it just
joy
looks
they
incredible.
bring, and the people who make them.
It's for us our first Gamescom with Activision,
Yeah.
Blizzard,
Yeah, it will be.
Bethesda, Xbox all here together. So there's definitely something special. All the teams have gotten together, and I think there's just such great
Phil's
representation.
the head of
I'll also
Microsoft
say
Gaming, right?
The
Is Sarah the
industry's
head
gone
of
through a lot
Xbox?
of transition with our shows, and seeing Gamescom as strong as ever
I've
with
not got a cup of
fans,
tea. I've
consumers
completely
coming
failed in my
all
quest
the
today.
creators that are here. Strength across Europe.
I've got
We
coffee.
need more
That's
of
the
this
important
in the
one, but
industry.
I've
I'm
not got a
glad
cup of tea.
we're here supporting. And it's just awesome to see how the gamers show up to support this show.
Bigger
Right,
and better
life's
every
goal
year.
for
We'd
next
love to
year,
see
I'm going
it.
to Gamescom.
Before we come to the booth, though, I actually
What
want to talk.
happened?
I saw
But we'll
you
see.
both
You
were
gotta
at
have dreams,
Opening Night
right?
Live yesterday, and there were some pretty amazing reveals and news in there. So, what was it like? I couldn't get a ticket, unfortunately, but what was it like
Wasn't
to be in the
that
room with that
amazing.
live reaction?
There's nothing better than being in the room with the live reaction
I can bet.
and to just see people marvel at the things that are being made, all the work being showcased, and folks put so
She's
much
right,
work
president
into
of
bringing
Xbox,
that
right.
forward. I'd say for me,
I couldn't remember what her new
it was
title
really
was.
cool to see Game Pass titles in the show. I think we had over a dozen titles that are coming to Game Pass in the
Oh,
show.
really?
It's having a fantastic lineup.
Didn't realize
but I
that.
was especially
a
excited
lot.
to announce that Genshin Impact is coming to
Oh
Xbox.
yeah, that's my one. That's
Yeah,
mine.
There's some pretty cool Game Pass rewards that are going to be part of that.
Nice.
There's going to be full cross.
I mean, there's free
progression,
stuff
and it's
in
also
Game
gonna be
Pass,
on
which is
cloud.
cool, I guess.
So
Ooh.
that one was a real highlight for me because I know so many fans are excited to enjoy that on the Xbox.
I love when creators are making new things, and it's you have to be really brave to come to a show maybe before you're done, show your game, get the feedback. Teams that are creating new games. I thought the diversity of games at the show was awesome.
Oh, he's got a
From
Doom
huge
t-shirt.
games
Doom hasn't
to
been...
smaller games, things we've heard of, seen, things we hadn't heard of. I also have to say Genshin. We got to
Doom
meet
isn't
the
on the
Emilio
list for
team
any of the
earlier
days.
today,
Yeah.
and they had such excitement for their announcement, and it was nice to be able to support that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some
fantastic.
Doom
And obviously
stuff.
we can't talk about
That
Opening
new
Night
Doom
Live. We
game
saw some
looks incredible.
amazing new stuff from Indiana Jones and the Great Circle as well,
Yeah.
as well as that exciting release date. We also saw the news about PlayStation as well, which is really cool. I'm really interested in that. So I want to know how this connects back to Xbox's perspective on how and when this approach happens to other titles.
I mean, I'll start just saying Machine Games is doing such a nice job with that game. I thought it showed really well.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing is
It
quality
looks
of the
really good.
games, teams that are getting support that can go build the game. And it was just nice. The long gameplay segment that they had, I thought was fantastic. Going to the PlayStation announcement, obviously last spring, we launched 4 games, 2 of them on the Switch, 4 of them on PlayStation, and we said we're going to learn. We said we'd watch. I think at Showcase, I might have said from our learning, we're going to do more. What I see when I look is our franchises are getting stronger. Our Xbox console players are as high this year as they've ever been.
Amazing.
So I look at it and I say, okay, our player numbers are going up for the console platform. Our
Interesting.
franchises are as strong as they've ever been. And we run a business.
Doesn't
like it's
feel
definitely
like
true
that.
inside of Microsoft. The bar is high for us in terms of the delivery that we have to give back to the company because we get a level of support from the company that's just amazing in what we're able to go do. So I look at this, how can we make our games as strong as possible? Our platform continues to grow, both on
You can
console,
fix Halo
on
for a
PC,
start,
and on
you know.
cloud. And I think it's just going to be a strategy that
selfish
works
here.
for us. And the last thing I'll probably say is I think as an industry
No
right
Halo
now,
here,
there's,
is there?
there's a lot of pressure on the industry. It's been growing for a long time, and now people are looking for ways to grow. And I think that us as fans, as players of games, we just have to anticipate there's
What
going
are
to
we
be
gonna-
more change
God, how
in
why
how
is
some of the
Halo so
traditional
dead?
ways that games were built and distributed. That's going to change. That's going to change for all of us. But the end result
They're-
has to
they're
be better
definitely
games
trying
that
something
more
new in the
people can
industry.
play. If we're
And
not
it
focused on
feels
that, I
like
think
it
we're
isn't
focused on the
working,
wrong
but
things.
they've not been
so
at
for
it
us,
long,
Xbox,
so we'll
health
see.
of Xbox,
Yep.
health of our platform, and
The
our
worry
growing
is
games,
the
most
health of their
important thing.
platform
Oh,
they
that sounds
see as
perfect.
pushing
Lovely. Now
certain
back to the
things
booth.
third
I saw
party
you
as
both
well.
walking around earlier before you joined me up here, sneaking some pictures.
I'm
with
okay
devs
with
at
it. I
Frontier,
think
Sega,
you
and
shouldn't
GSC
be
Game
locked into
World.
a
So I want to know,
certain
Sarah,
platform to play
specifically what
games.
it's like to be working with our
But,
partners here in Europe, and what kind of
you know,
evolution we can see from these partners.
It's an interesting time in the
partnership
games
we have
industry.
with
It's a very
here in
tough
Europe
time
is fantastic.
in the
we have
games
over
industry.
2,000 partners
And
in EMEA.
we see how it plays out.
Actively building games.
It's a lot of emails.
It's been
I know, it
a
is a
very
lot of
bad
emails
year
for
for
Xbox,
so many studios.
PC and
This-
console
I mean,
and
even the last
cloud
8 months have been
today.
tough.
We've got over 20
Like
of them
heartbreakingly
here
so.
with us.
So we'll see
here in the booth.
what happens.
And it's just been great to walk
Space
around,
Marine
to see what they're
2.
doing. 2 Point Museum for Sega Europe. We've got the Stalker 2 team, GSC Game World, back with us, supporting them over the last
Yeah, I think
couple of
Stalker
years. Has
you
been
can
a
play
real
there as
highlight.
well.
So to get to be able to play their
I
game
think
again
when
here,
that
it's
comes out,
fantastic.
it's
We just
there's
walked
going to be a
over and
real
checked out
celebration for Stalker 2
Winterboro,
in
which is
November, I
very
think. I hope.
special.
They look so cute. I'm very excited for that one.
And so it's great to be able to grow here with the partners that we have in Europe.
Amazing. And it also comes, as well as the amazing
They've-
support
they've
you've got
put
for
a lot of
local
money
devs,
into
there's such
coming
a
to
huge
Gamescom.
play base here in Europe as well.
Yeah,
So
I think
what
they do
kind of
every
special
year,
stuff
which
are you
is
seeing
good.
from us over here?
I mean, Europe's always been really important to Xbox. It used to be we treated this almost solely as a PC show. Well, I'm old enough that I remember we used to kind of take E3 and just show it again. Like this was back when we didn't really treat Gamescom with the respect that it deserves. Then we were focused more on PC. Now what we find here is putting our games on PC, on console really matches to the diverse player base we see in Europe.
Yeah.
Like some of the strongest franchises on PC are from here. You have great console support. So the most important thing for us is to show local support for creators, to put games in the hands of people. One thing that's great about Gamescom is you can come and you can play the games. You can feel what it's like to play Stalker
I want one of those
Vessel
hats.
of Hatred from Diablo. Like, you get your chance here. And I think that's something special about this show. And it's so accessible to so much of Europe. I just love that we support it the way we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the sheer scale that it demands, as well as you were saying earlier, Sarah, absolutely.
With our
love
little
it.
city here.
Yeah.
that we
Yeah,
have.
the little city that we're building. We're the mayors. So I want to speak a little bit more on hardware, as we've gone over it a couple of times here. Since I've not spoken to you since the
What are we
showcase
gonna
at
get?
all, which is criminal in and of itself. But we saw the 3 new options for the Xbox Series X and S. So I was wondering if there's a little bit more information we can share about
Well, pre-orders are starting today.
that. Yes, Sarah.
All right.
I
Yeah,
love
yours
the
in.
2
We're launching
terabyte
on
color,
October
the little
15th,
green
Nice.
stand with the
markets, and we also
that's
have
like
some
the
very
star
cool
design on it, the
accessibility
shiny pattern.
options.
That's
We're gonna
really
be talking
nice.
more
I'm not
about later
buying
today.
one.
And for
I
holiday
can just
and the
delete
rest of
games
this
and
year,
reinstall
some
other
very
stuff.
Cool
So-
console wraps
but-
that you can get
Okay.
to adorn your
wraps.
console as you may choose.
Christmas list sorted then. Thank you
Yes.
very much, Sarah. Okay, console options done. We're going to hear they'll be coming just in time for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which is amazing. Cannot
Yeah,
wait for
looked
that.
so good
Yeah.
last night in the show.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah, I
goodness,
was
it
really,
just
really
silent.
interested
From
with this.
Raven, I thought
Yeah.
was just awesome.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Talking of games, I do want to know though, what are you going to be playing? Is there anything you've got your eye on? Last year we spoke about
Brotato, yeah.
and I wanted to give you an update and everyone at home that I have now 100%ed Little Kitty Big City, and it
Nice.
is
Yes.
quite possibly the greatest game of all time. But yeah,
Little
is there
Kitty Big
anything
City
on
is
your backlog that
amazing.
you need to catch up on, or anything coming up soon you want to dive into?
Well, the Game Pass lineup is making the backlog extraordinarily long.
Unforgivable.
And it's getting even better this year, both on console and PCs. We've got Aura coming. We have Age of
Aura
Mythology,
looks interesting,
Flight Sim
yeah.
2024, which looks incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Black Ops 6, of course. Indiana Jones, Stalker 2. Like, it's all like, what, every month there's something pretty amazing.
a lot of games.
There's a lot of games. We like games around here.
Every
I would
month
say
there's something
from a
pretty amazing.
personal
I think that's true,
perspective,
actually.
Super excited for Diablo 4, especially because my father is probably the biggest Diablo fan. So
can't
Vessel
say
of
that in front of
Hatred and that
Phil.
coming up. Yeah, the fact that Vessel of Hatred is coming up is pretty big.
That's cool.
In their world. And then I am excited to play Genshin Impact on
Yes.
Xbox, and particularly to check it out over the cloud.
Yeah, very good. We'll have to duo for that one. That sounds grand.
Yeah.
Love it. Perfect. Phil, anything for you?
Well, P3 on Xbox Live, people can see what I'm playing.
Yeah.
A lot of Diablo 4 right now. My rapid fire rogue is L100, all my
Very
glyphs to
good.
21.
Yeah.
Having a good time with that. I mean, I just love the game, playing with my friends. Path of the Goddess, Kinesugami,
Nice, yeah.
like our partners at Capcom doing new IP. It was awesome to be able to partner with them. It's something
Yeah.
in Game Pass. As they're investing in
is it Game
new,
Pass?
like, we can actually come in with some financial funding to help support.
Yeah, it's the
them
weird one,
investing
isn't it?
and I just love the color palette, the boss design. Just a really, really fun game. Some old school kind of tower defense-y mechanics. I
Yeah,
love that.
it felt a
One
bit
of the things
tower
I get to
defense-y.
do every month
defend
is
your
I go
village at
through
night
the
kind of
ID
thing.
selects with the team, and we
nice.
vote internally on games from different ID developers. Daydreams is a game I'm really liking. Little boy and his toy teddy bear,
Oh, okay.
and kind of a single-player type co-op game. It's fun.
I'm
I
sold.
think a
Sounds
couple
great.
months ago, High Water was a
Interesting.
game that's really good. Like, I love when I get a list of games from creators and teams I haven't seen before, and get to dive in. I think there's like 15 of them. I play them, and my vote's just like anybody else's vote in terms of where they rank. But that's fun. A lot of great games, a lot of kind of new things, and things that have been around for a while. Oh, and I'm here, so I'm not doing it. My buggy in Starfield.
Oh,
I'm looking
yeah.
forward. I've been asking for Todd for vehicles. Come on, Todd. I want vehicles in this game. I'm tired of walking around this planet. And I thought the trailer for that looked really good last night, so I can't wait to drive
Yeah,
around
the
Planet
buggy looked
Starfield.
interesting.
Wonderful. And talking of
It looked
driving,
very
I'm
much like the
personally, if
Mako.
anyone's wondering, super excited. Forza Horizon 5 is over there.
Yeah.
It's the game I cannot put down. Absolutely adore it. So if they've got something new cooking, I desperately need to see
New
what that
gameplay mode.
is.
Sarah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So excited. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for the chat. Please enjoy getting your hands on our lovely city we've got here. But I'm going to speak to these guys here because if,
All right.
like me, you've been eyeing up those new consoles, then buckle up because we want to
No.
help you win one. Now, over to Bex with more information.
I'll have a free one, but no,
Well,
mine's
thanks,
fine.
Charlie. So
I have a
not
Series
only
X,
are these
1
honeys available
terabyte.
for
It's fine.
pre-order right now, anyone
The
watching the
new
broadcast
Series X
has a
looks
chance
nice,
to
though.
enter to win either the 1 terabyte Xbox Series X all digital edition, by the way,
way, the 1 terabyte Xbox Series S, both in Robot White,
I didn't
are
realize
the
it was an
grand
X
prize
digital.
of the 2 terabyte special edition
Galaxy Black is
Xbox
nice.
Series
I like
X.
that
I mean,
controller
look how
with the
gorgeous
green
that
as well.
is.
That's
To enter,
really nice.
just head over
I just
to
want that controller.
twitch.tv/Xbox, check out the rules and all the info in the chat. And best of all, good luck. So, next up, we saw Forza Horizon 5's new gameplay mode reveal at the top of the show, the Hide and Seek. We are now going to look at some new wheels that have been inspired by
Right, so we're
Dallas
sticking with
Maverick
the
star
Forza Horizon
Luka
stuff.
Doncic, and, best of all,
Jump
blessed
to our
by
list.
the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. So let's have a look.
I think we're going to end on Diablo, or maybe Starfield. Really want to see what they're doing with Atomfall. It looks really nice, but it's also a car. Like, visually the game's incredible, and how they design the cars, like the actual detail that they get on them is amazing, but it's also just a Chevy. Like, I'm not a racing game fan. I am not a motorsport fan. But like I said, the Forza Horizon games are
Hello,
brilliant.
everyone. It is an honor to be here at Gamescom, representing the incredible work of our teams
President of
around the
Blizzard.
world. We have a lot going on here in Cologne
she
on
out-
the show
did she
floor.
come on stage
right
last
here
night?
behind me, attendees can experience the demo for the Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred expansion. We are also excited to be speaking with our global community here on the Xbox broadcast over the coming days. During opening night live, we shared that this is a massive year for Blizzard, particularly for World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft
the
is
most
gonna be
ambitious
huge,
creative
yeah.
endeavor for the team since the game's
I think
initial
they're
release
talking about that
almost
tomorrow.
20 years ago begins tomorrow, with
Yeah.
early access kicking off for our latest expansion, The War Within. And tomorrow, Senior Game Director Ian Hazakostas and Associate Art Director Tina Wang will be sharing more about the team's work on the expansion and the role it will play in the
I mean, it looks,
three-part
the
World Soul
cinematics have
saga.
always been amazing, but it
Last
looks
night, we also gave
visually
an overview
incredible,
of some new features coming
just
to Diablo
cinematic-wise.
4, Vessel of Hatred. And we know you have a
Yeah, that
lot
was a cool
of
trailer.
questions. So Diablo General Manager Rod Ferguson will be getting into the details of the new features
Oh, Rod's
coming
here,
with this
nice.
expansion, and
I
we'll
like
share
Rod,
more
he's
about what's coming to
ex-Coalition.
Diablo Immortal.
the mind behind Gears
We're
4.
so excited to be here at Gamescom
Maybe Gears 5
with
as well.
Xbox and with all of you. Gaming is at its very best when we share our experiences, and on behalf of everyone at Blizzard, thank you for being a part of our legendary worlds alongside us. Now, before I go, I want to leave you with a parting
I
gift
obviously
from
haven't
the
got my
Overwatch
lighting
team. The
correct.
origin story for our latest
Boo.
hero, Juno, now available in Season 12. Enjoy.
Not an Overwatch fan. Can you tell? Again, these cinematics are really pretty. I just wish I knew what they were. That's a Starfield ship.
Flight.
Maybe it isn't.
We're
It
wondering
looks
why
very.
haven't
You could
fired
probably
primary
build something like
booster
that in
yet.
Starfield.
All systems appear optimal.
I just
Nice
need a minute.
boots, though.
It is so hard to say goodbye to the only home I've ever known.
I do like the design of the
But the colony
characters.
isn't safe anymore, and
The
our
art
window of
style.
opportunity
It's
is
just.
closing.
They did a single player
Let's get you on your way to your new
Overwatch.
home.
I might try that. I'd probably get into that.
Next stop, Earth. Initiating boosters in 3, 2, 1. Control?
Yeah, not happening.
Our sensors indicate an external issue.
External?
Follow protocols and you'll be fine. But you have to hurry.
This is the kind of animated style that I do like. That slightly 3D edge.
Careful. I'm going to find a way to save you.
Why don't you put it in a
All of
pocket?
you.
Do spacesuits not have pockets?
I think I see the problem.
Copy that.
There's a rock. I got a rock in my engine.
Don't panic. You're okay.
Kind of messed that up, didn't you?
Not okay. Why did I think I could do this?
Juno, I believe in you. You've trained.
They're
for
not
this
making
kind
her a
of
very
thing your
endearing
whole
character, are
life.
they? She seems a bit useless.
You have all the tools you need.
Considering she has 3 other jumps, like boosters.
All right. I have all the tools I need.
Seems like a bit of a waste.
Control. Problem solved.
Hear that? We're all so proud of you.
I don't...
I want you to live a long, happy life on Earth, sweetheart. Always remember, I love you.
I love you too, Mom. Okay, Earth. Here I come.
Maybe I'm not that bothered about Overwatch. She just doesn't seem interesting. Cool design.
Attention, unknown craft. Halt your approach and identify yourself.
It is too late to halt. I'm coming in very hot. Who is this?
This is Overwatch. I am tracking your trajectory and will have someone meet you. For my records, where did you come from?
I am from Mars, and my name is Juno.
That wasn't that good. I expected better.
It's one of the fastest selling games in Blizzard's history, and it just made headlines again at last night's opening night live. And here to give us an exclusive look at Diablo 4's newest expansion, please welcome General Manager Rod Ferguson, Systems Designer Aislinn Hall, and Lead Game Designer
Rod.
Rex
Rod's
Dixon. Welcome, guys, to
he's
Gamescom.
just cool.
Thank you for having us.
How you guys all doing? Yeah, it's exciting stuff. Now, for those of the people out there that might have missed what happened last night, why don't you clue us in? What exactly did you just do?
Yeah, well, last night was exciting. So our game director for their Vessel of Hatred expansion, Brent Gibson, got on stage and he talked about something that we've been going even deeper on the expansion. You know, we've talked about the Spiritborn, the class, we've talked about the new zone, Nahantu.
Does he still have a lot of players?
Campaign, but we're like, there's
Diablo
even more
4.
in the expansion than that. And so we really want to get into like different ways that people want to play the game. And so we introduced the Undercity of Kuras, which is our new dungeon, which Rex will talk about. We have our new Dark Citadel, which is our multiplayer co-op. And then the big thing was our trailer last night for our Mercenaries.
Ah, Mercenaries. Now, let's talk about them for a sec, because this is a brand new gameplay feature. We'll talk about new class and all that kind of stuff in a sec, but Mercenaries seems really interesting. You showed off like this vignette with 4 different characters. I mean, introduce us
I never
to them.
really
Who are these
understood
people?
how that
Why did it
worked.
feel like the right time to bring it in now? And how do you hope players are going to engage with the Mercenaries?
Yeah.
Rex?
So I think the franchise has a legacy of followers and mercs, and we wanted to really reimagine that formula. And so we added this feature called Mercenaries to the game. There's 4 mercenaries that you can recruit. One is Rahir, one is Variana, Subo, and Aldkin, the demon child, which everyone got very excited about at the show the other night. And so there's a lot of depth in mercenaries. So you'll meet Rahir in the campaign. He'll introduce you to this hideout called the Merc Den. And within the Merc Den, you can find these quests. You have to go on these story-based quests to actually acquire the Merc in order for them to party with you. So each Merc has his own backstory, his own personality. And then once you acquire them, you can bring them into your party with you. And essentially, it facilitates a way that solo players never have to feel like they're alone again. Because now they have this friend, this partner who can adventure with them. And so one of the ways
That's
that
cool,
you
that it's a
progress
way
your
of
Merc is
countering
you have
the
each Merc
solo
has their own
play
skill tree.
problems.
And you can sort of pick and choose which skills you want them to have. And it's
Oh,
a
that's
really
cool.
nice way
An
to
element of
complement your
customization.
build. So whatever build you're trying to go with, you can have the Merc set up so their skills kind of match and overlap with your own. We
That's
also
pretty
have
cool.
a system called rapport. The more you work with a merc and the more you adventure with them, the more they can sort of give you more benefits and they can kind of grow in power. And so once you go back to the merc den, you can actually get custom rewards that you can only get by progressing your merc, building up that rapport in order to access these really awesome rewards at the end.
And then, so I'm going to have to be best friends with a demon child if I want to see the good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm in.
And then this last feature we have is called reinforcements, where let's say you don't want to have a merc in your party at the all the time. You can actually say, when I use this skill or perform an evade or something like that, I want this reinforcement merc to jump on the field, perform an action, then jump back out again.
Oh,
So
that's
there's
cool.
a lot of depth, a lot of fun, and some great storytelling in the mercs feature.
So you could have a team of 4.
You can equip one at a time to
potentially.
complement your character, but you can
Team of
access all of
4
them and try them
with the
all
4
out, see
mercs.
which one works best for you.
And when you
Correct, and you
dodge,
can mix and
somebody
match your
comes in to,
combos, so
like
you
one
can
of the
have
mercs
two
comes in
mercs,
to
one
take
is your
over.
main
That's
merc and one
cool.
is your reinforcement.
Oh.
And if you're in a party, the party leader can bring a merc with them.
Sick.
Yeah.
Oh.
5 things happening, because there wasn't enough on screen already.
I agree.
Yeah, great. Well, have you got any particular favorite mercs that you like playing alongside?
For me personally, Rahir, because Rahir's a dad and his daughter is introduced in the campaign flow.
Oh.
And so I kind of like associate myself with him because I'm a dad as well.
I don't know
got
who
2
Rahir
boys.
is.
Right.
Can you
But
show
also,
a picture
like,
of him?
I have a problem
Is he the
when I
he
play
must be the
Diablo.
shield
I'm
guy.
always speccing into damage and DPS at the expense of my defensive skills. And so Rahir has this buff called resiliency, which actually increases your armor, increases your defensive buffs. And so I actually rely on that to stay alive when I'm playing the game.
Nice. Aislinn, how about yourself?
Yeah, I absolutely love Varyana. She's just totally wild. She's a butcher who's also a former cannibal, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I love playing
Fair
aggressively.
enough.
You know, I love building momentum and moving forward. And she has a kill streak mechanic, and that complements that very nicely.
I like it. Rod?
I mean, the Demon Child. I think it's such a unique character in our world, and that explosive power, and the fact that it has the sort of the 2 sides, the human side and the demon side, is really cool to sort of complement the
That's a
you know,
cool
the
bit of
variety
duality.
on the battlefield.
Okay, well, you've picked 3. I'll take the one left over.
You have Subo.
Yeah, I'll pick Subo.
I mean, who doesn't love a drunken archer, really? I mean, that's...
Exactly.
You know,
Thank you. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun, but now, as promised, why don't we cover some behind-the-scene looks at the making Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. Check this out.
They're really pushing this for October, aren't they? I know it's coming out soon, but they are really trying to get Diablo back in the headlines. Wasn't the last
In
update
Vessel
like
of Hatred,
a
we travel
massive
south to Nahantu,
change to how loot works?
a region with both deep ancient jungles and vast sprawling plains. It's the last stretch of land in Sanctuary's eastern continent, and we've packed it full of
I mean,
experiences
it's such a
for
pretty
every
game.
type of player.
It really is.
In this expansion, there's a whole lot to explore under the dark canopy of Nahantu.
Nahantu is the southernmost region of the eastern continent that Diablo 4 has been taking place in. It's the last region that we haven't
was a good
visited
trailer.
yet
Beautiful
so far in
trailer.
the game, but it is one that we've been to before in Diablo.
There's lots of new areas. We have 6 in total. 4 of them are jungle themed, and then we have 2 that are Red Rock Canyon, but each one of them has their own unique identity. When you first arrive in Nahantu, you're in this place called Lingering Hatred. This is high treetops canopies where you're almost walking amongst the branches high above the jungle floor.
Imagine a thick canopy that the light is just barely poking through.
The whole area has been infected by this thing called the Hollows infestation. The Hollows are a new enemy that's associated with Mephisto. They themselves are kind of like a tar-like substance creature born straight out of the depths of hell.
It feels a little twisted. There's a sickness to the area itself.
Humans have ventured into this deep part of the jungle where there's all this poisonous plants and flora. The dregs actually started experimenting with eating these hallucinogens, and it put them into this aggressive psycho rage.
The dregs were pretty fun because we were able to push more variety in the monster
the
family.
character
You have one
design
of these
of
tall
the
dregs,
enemies
and then
is
half of a body
really
of
cool.
another dreg on top of it, kind of
That's
controlling
weird.
it and
It's
telling
so
it where to
creepy.
go and tossing poisonous bombs at the player. When you come across it, it's very memorable.
And then we've also got the area of Tenganse, where you've
Wild.
got the Tenganse Plateau,
Just
which
wild.
is full of these red-rocked plateaus and canyons.
Imagine getting up above the land. Those gigantic walls have pockets inside where monsters could live. It offered up a lot of opportunity to bring back a monster family like the Lucunai.
We're bringing them back in a new way here as a fully fleshed out monster family with multiple classes.
What a more brute force looks like, what a caster looks like. They are very much apex predators, and we're definitely in their territory. And then there's a little sub-area called the skittering.
Again, a really cool design.
The name alone makes your skin crawl.
And it's bug infested, and you can see how the bugs have destroyed the jungles and kind of input their influence on it. Within the Field of Giants, you have these giant corpses of these long-dead demons that humans have begun to mine away at for their resources. While they've got a lot of use out of them, they're also toxic to the land around it.
The notion of massive demons walking sanctuary 1,000 years ago is really thought-provoking.
Plateau's also got just this beautiful color scheme to the lighting. It's really lovely to be there. And then horrific at the same time, you know, it's great.
The mercenaries in Vessel of Hatred
I think they're really going to be pushing the mercenary stuff.
People who
it's the third time we've heard about it in 2 days.
As ordinary people with extraordinary skills.
And I wonder if,
they have
as the future goes, I'm not going to play this. As the future goes, are they going to bring in more mercenaries? Is every season going to have new mercenaries? Or are they going to refresh the mercenaries?
A blacksmith and a shield bearer is a more defensive fighter.
He's able to go in there and soak up damage.
He's the Captain America
use
dude.
His shield as a bulwark against the enemy.
You meet him early on in the campaign, and he's one who introduces you to the mercenary network. You end up finding acquisition quests for 3 other mercs that you can find throughout the course of the story.
Subo, the drunken archer, is going to work really well for people who want someone who's out of the main melee, in the back, offering utility and that kind of range support.
Then we have Ariana, a berserker crone, who's a melee combat fighter, close range. She's got a really cool combat meter, a massacre meter, where you need to keep killing enemies to get the meter to be filled.
She's got a bunch of really interesting utility skills.
I mean, there's a lot of enemies to kill, so yeah,
Finally,
sure.
we have the demon child Aldkin, who's a magic user who can transform himself from human form to demon form and join you in combat.
There's this really great reinforcement ability where you can take one of the mercenary skills and attach it to one of your powers so that when you use that skill, it calls them in to do a specific skill.
With the mercenaries for Vessel of Hatred, one of the things we are expanding on is the skill tree. For Diablo 3, you had a very basic type of mercenary, but this time you can actually push a little bit more into the skill tree and make the mercenary the way you would want to play.
Going through each mercenary progression arc and outfitting their skill tree so that it's complementary to your character build, I think that's where the fun in the mercenary system really lies.
The Dark Citadel is a new in-game feature that's coming in Vessel of Hatred. It's an entirely cooperative player experience. All the mechanics within it are based around you working together with your party members to solve the challenges and face the first hordes within.
One of the outcomes of the Mage Wars.
True co-op
is this giant crater and all the souls that were kind of lost in it from those wars.
The goal of the first Khazra, who are kind of the original Khazra, they're using the powers within the Citadel found within this crater to perform experiments to try and bring back their dark god.
Only recently, people have started going missing. They head into the Khazra region, they disappear, never to be seen again. So it's clear that whatever they're planning is about to come to fruition, and your job as the players to get in there and stop it.
Citadels
do they do
are a
it
place
like a
where
Diablo
we take
4 outbook?
What is the best part of Diablo, combat, and we test it in a different way, which is adding in cooperative mechanics that you have to manage on top of that.
For example, a boss has an attack, and as a player, you have to collect an item that allows you to reflect the attack back at him. So there's a little bit of a Twitch-level mechanic there where you actually have to time your reaction shot. What's interesting about it is when you get multiple people in there, we're each responsible for reflecting that shot once, so we all have to sort of master the timing of that move. You can't do that kind of thing without coordinating as a team, and that's sort of the example of what Citadel gameplay feels like.
When designing the Citadel, we designed a lot of really cool bosses. And so one of the things that we did is we took that design and made like armor sets for each of the classes. That way you feel like you took their armor and you feel like you're wearing a little bit of them after your victory.
That's cool.
We also have a currency that's dedicated to the Citadel, where as you play through, a vendor can be interacted with to buy custom cosmetics that are unique to the Citadel. You can play with 2 people, but the ideal experience is for 4. In order to facilitate that, we've built an all-new Party Finder feature. And the community has been pretty vocal about wanting this for a long time. it made a lot of sense to us to pair it with this new Citadel mode.
It really is an activity that's geared towards
I mean,
people who
at this
love
point,
to play
2024
together with their
games
friends
that
or with
require a
strangers
multiplayer
and
element,
enjoy that cooperative gameplay.
they should really have an LFG mode built in.
I cannot wait for players to get into the world. I'm really just excited for people to see all the little hidden storytelling elements that the team has fit in.
So there's interesting things to find and see and discover around every corner, and it's just a really great experience getting to explore and hunt too.
You can ride a panther.
I mean,
You get a
Party
walk.
Finder, that is
I want
a
a walk cat.
fantastic idea.
I want
mean,
Battle
the amount
Cat.
of times I log on and a buddy's not there or whatever, now I can fill that gap. And who needs friends anymore, right? So, there was a lot in that. I want to talk specifically first about the Dark Citadel, because as a guy that's into his endgame activities, that's a really creative way to bring players together and actually work things out. So tell us, what actually will players have to do inside Dark Citadel to earn some rewards, get through it alive?
So it's really a unique model for us. And again, Dark Citadel is built towards endgame. And we're doing more in Vessel of Hatred to push players through the campaign and then into the endgame, where we think some of the best content is. So Dark Citadel will require at least 2 players to get through, and requires a lot of communication between players to overcome challenges. Every week there's going to be updated rewards, so there's always a reason to go back and do it
So
again.
you're going to have a mic. It's like the Destiny raids kind of thing, but with 4 people.
Including one very big fan-requested feature, which is our Scroll of Retempering. So no more brick items. You'll be able to apply the scroll and get all new tempering charges on that item. So I know everyone's very excited about that, and Dark Citadel is the best place to go to get that.
Excellent. Well, there is a lot in that, but it isn't the only thing that you're launching on October 8th. So what else we got to look forward to?
Yeah, so on October 8th,
October
we're
8th,
also going to be
there's a
launching
lot
Season
coming
6
over the next few months.
alongside Vessel of Hatred. And Season 6 is going to have a ton of
Season 6
content that's
already?
bespoke. It's totally separate and unique to Season 6, and it's going to be free for all Diablo 4 players, which is awesome.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
We're going to be talking a lot more about the details of the content of Season 6 in the coming months, but there's not going to just be new content coming in Season 6. Alongside Season 6 and Vessel of Hatred, we also have major character progression updates coming to Diablo 4.
I'm going to have to ask for some specifics, surely.
Are you going to tell us about that?
What else you got?
Yeah. So if you're familiar or you've played Season 4 Loot Reborn, you know we did a lot of itemization changes that kind of fundamentally altered a lot about how you're playing the game and how you're getting rewards. The scope of the character progression changes that are coming in Season 6 it's the same. Like, it's the same grand scale. There's a lot of changes coming to character progression, a lot of improvements coming. I'd love to talk a little bit about the goals and also a little bit about some Paragon changes that are coming with the character progression updates. Yeah, so really when we were thinking about these changes, we took a bird's eye view and we wanted to think about how can we make
I'm trying to see what's there, see if there's anything that they haven't announced
how they
or
want to
that they
interact
haven't said
with
they're
the
looking
challenge
at.
that Diablo 4 provides in the game. We wanted to make sure that you could opt in to your
Avowed
challenge
today.
level that you're comfortable with so that you can
Avowed's
set your own
Friday.
pace in any activity throughout all of Diablo 4. And so we've applied, basically, you know, if you've played Season 4 Loot Reborn or you've played some in Season 5, you might be familiar with the Profane Mind Cage. That's an item that allows you in the Hell Tides to up the level of the monsters, up the difficulty.
I know I keep saying it.
but you
I
get more
really want to
rewards
go.
as well. And we've kind of applied that philosophy throughout all of Diablo 4. You can kind of opt into your own challenge and then get more stuff because of it.
Sick.
And then alongside that, we also have a lot of changes coming to Paragon. We wanted to add depth and choice to the Paragon system, but we know that it's pretty daunting for some people, right? So we wanted to make sure that while we were doing that,
I'm
we
always
weren't
an
increasing
advocate
the
for
complexity,
customization
right? We want to make sure that
and
it's still
interaction
very,
with
like,
your
that it's an
character in
approachable
game.
thing.
The
but there's a
RPG
lot
stuff
of
I
cool
love.
stuff you can do with it.
I love
And I could
leveling
go
up a
on
character and
forever
making them
and
feel
ever
your
about
own.
this for hours. But we're going to have a lot more details in a developer live stream on August 29th. We're going to have a campfire chat where we're going to be talking all about the specifics of these things.
I probably won't be covering that,
I mean,
I'll
the
be
best
honest.
way to phrase it is like what Season 4 did to loot, Season 6 will do to progression.
But expect
and the thing too,
big
but to go
Diablo
back to the Party
push
Finder, like
over the
there's
next
things
few
that
months.
people look at, like what's part of the expansion, what's not. Party Finder is coming to the game, not just to the expansion. So,
great.
And what's great about it is not only can you access it through the social menu that you can see, or you can access it through your remote wheel, you can actually access it from the map. So when you say, oh, I'm going to go do this dungeon, you can say, and list it as a party that people come join me in this dungeon. So it's a feature that's going to apply to the entire game.
Excellent.
Good.
Yeah, and
And I
I should
hope
also
it
mention,
is
in addition to
fairly
Dark
fluid and
Citadel,
easy
we have
accessible.
another mode that we're bringing to the table, which is called Undercity. And Undercity is a time dungeon where you want to beat it before the timer runs out. And that mode has modifiable rewards. So you get these things called tributes, and depending on which tribute you use, you can modify and scale your rewards with the difficulty.
Okay.
It's a really cool mode. We're really excited. And one of the reasons we built these two modes is this concept of new ways to play. Right? People love our game. They love Nightmare Dungeons. They love Whispers. They love Helltides. But what we really want to do is make sure we have enough canvas so that every user can find something that is uniquely suited to them. And that's what New Ways to Play is all about.
Good.
Me and my friends, we just love being able to have a bit of choice, which is really fun in Infernal Hordes in the current season, for example. And being able to tailor exactly how messed up we want this level to get is really fun. So the fact that it's getting applied to more aspects of Diablo that's awesome to hear. But
that's good. That's a positive.
Now,
they're obviously listening to what the community want, which
Hatred,
again is a good thing because I think it launched well, and then
really
they've messed things up with the first season.
You were talking about Season 5 is continues the pace.
This is good
Season 4.
changes.
You can
Like
level up
even
really
someone who
fast.
doesn't
It's
play
very
Diablo,
exciting.
who
The
isn't
Infernal
interested
Hordes
in
is a great
Diablo,
new mode,
really.
which
So
is like,
fun.
This is good,
basically
and
it's
it's
sort
on
of a
Game
horde
Pass.
mode where wave after wave
And Season
are
6 is a
coming
free
after you. You can go and
update.
fight the Fell
And then
Council
they've obviously
to get
got
your
Vessel
rewards
of
from
Hatred
that.
if you want to
But
buy
that's
that
really
and
the
really
big
buy
thing.
into it.
Just even
Get
if you
all the
haven't played through
content.
the campaign yet, that's one of the nice things
But if you have
about
Game
the
Pass,
Vessel of
there's no
Hatred
reason not to
is
try it.
that it is a continuation of
Which
that
is why I
story.
like
So
Game
where
Pass,
Nayrel
but
left at the end of the game,
It's not
you
my
can
kind
pick
of
that
thing.
story up and you get to
I couldn't
continue
get
to
on
play.
with
So
it,
if you
but I
haven't
was
played through
also
the campaign
very
yet,
medicated
now's
at
a
the
great
time. So.
And I would be, I have to also do the pitch, right? Like,
Go on.
It's an awesome time to pre-purchase the expansion. One of the things we had some great incentives before, where you get the new cat mount, you get new armor. You
I
get
am
pets
never
now, you
going
have
to
Snow
advocate
Leopard
for
and the tiger
anybody to
that'll follow you around and
pre-purchase
pick up stuff for
anything.
you. But with
I used to
last night, we
pre-order
actually
everything.
added 2 more. Where not only do you have
I used to
Angel
pre-order
Wings
everything
that
just
we
for
had
the pre-order
before,
bonuses.
We added Demon Wings
if you want
last
the pre-order
night, so
bonuses,
if you've
do
already-
it. Great.
Yeah, so if you've already pre-purchased, you'll get your
with
Demon
how
Wings
things
that
have
come in, or
released
they're there.
over the last few years, how many games have come out broken on day one?
With the Deluxe and the Ultimate Edition,
I
we've
cannot
actually
in
added 1
good
month of
conscience say
Ultimate
go
Game
pre-order
Pass.
again.
So if you haven't,
But if you want the
jumped in
bonuses,
yet,
if you
or
want
if you want to
if
add
you
an
want the game
extra
day
month
one,
onto your subscription,
obviously pre-order it. Do what you want to do. It's your money.
The pre-purchase, and you'll get
the first
an extra
game
month.
I've
And
pre-ordered
I already got
in
my
5
code last night.
years
I
is
watched the show, got back to my
Space
hotel room,
Marine
and
2.
there was my code for a month of Ultimate. So it was awesome.
And that's only because I want to play it early.
While you're on that as well.
Yeah, well,
in between
So
Diablo.
yeah,
Is that
that's
possible? I don't know if that's possible.
That's true.
But that's
I've already
for me.
played
That's
quite a few
the
hours
channel
into the
purchase.
current
I'm going to be
season,
streaming
and
that game so I can justify
it's so
why
much
I'm
fun
buying
as
it.
is, and I
If
just
not,
can't
I'd
wait to
probably
see
wait and see what the reviews were
Season
like.
6 drop as well, and Vessel's looking
And if it is
new
actually
class as
running well
I mean,
on an
Thank you
Xbox.
so much.
I don't know what else I'm going to play in the meantime. You guys have just killed all my free time.
Well, it's great when it's the nice things. We have a demo deck on the booth here. Here we have the whole Hantu corrupted, temple, and it's actually got a 20-minute demo of the Spiritborn. And what's great about it is you go in and you can pick whether you want to be a gorilla type or a centipede type or a jaguar type or an eagle type based on the Spirit Guardians. But then when it sort of clicks in after you played it for a little bit, like, wait, these aren't 4 different classes. This is one class with this amount of variety that I can apply to it.
Is that a scout
So
trooper
you can go in and
walking
double
around?
down on the Jaguar, like my shirt
He's
says.
obviously there for
if you can be a
Avalon.
Jaguar, be a Jaguar, right? Like, but you also can be. You can
Always
you
be
can
yourself
mix and
unless
match.
you can be a
half
Jaguar.
centipede, half gorilla, and create
I
really cool
agree.
mixtures and unique
That's a
play
sentiment
styles.
I can
And so,
live with.
It's really exciting to watch people get their hands on. This is the first place that, outside of press and content creators, people have been able to play, and it's been fun just to watch them play.
Well, half centipede and half gorilla is a disturbing image to end on. But, thanks a lot. You're going to stick around because we need to talk about that. Rex, Aislinn, thanks so much for joining us. Changing gears now, though, we are, for those of you who have been counting down the days to September's Diablo Immortal major update, we've got a sneak peek at the making of Immortal's hellish bosses.
I didn't think
including
this
the
was still a
rebirth of
game.
the Dark Lord of Terror himself.
Don't you guys have phones? That's the only thing I know about Diablo Immortal.
Unspeakable horrors that you are fighting.
Our boss experiences aren't something that you can get in any other game.
We are giving players this heightened sense of horror.
It does look like Diablo 3, doesn't it?
Experience that they're the hero.
I think the spectrum of bosses that we have definitely hit everybody's personal horror stories.
So we're like 50 bosses now. Some of our bosses in Immortal are incredibly deadly. And we're
That's
really
quite a
proud
lot of
to be able
bosses.
to actually have the ability to bring Diablo back into our universe.
Everything that Diablo does, everything that Diablo says needs to be unnerving, terrifying.
It is going to be a very, very difficult battle.
The music changes, the environment changes, and all of a sudden, you have to fight for your life.
The process of designing a Diablo boss is usually quite organic.
It really depends on the boss. Sometimes it starts with a cool mechanical idea. Sometimes it starts with kind of a narrative germ.
The story team is going to have a lot of say in terms of like, what is the fiction behind the boss? And so what is the feel behind the boss?
In some zones, we are going to lavish incredible build-up on a boss, especially the final boss. In Tristram Cathedral,
so you should,
before
if
you
it's
fight
narrative.
Albrecht, the first Shardborn, there's a whole quest line
That's
that
kinda
has
cool.
you exploring
Creepy,
the
but
ruins
cool.
of Leoric Manor and learning about his past. And so at the end, when you face him, there's this context and kind of a richness to the things that he is saying to you.
Flesh will hush the voices.
That if you are paying attention to the dialogue, will maybe resonate a little bit more emotionally.
Do you see how much stronger I've become?
Once they have the mechanics down and how they feel the battle
I'm not
should
a
go,
mobile gamer.
then they get all that together and
I'm a
then it
console
gets passed
gamer.
off to art.
When it comes to designing a Diablo boss,
I just-
there definitely is a long list
Yeah.
of visual elements that we go to. Spikes, demon horns.
I guess it's a good thing that it's found its footing and the community aren't quite as negative against it.
Different diseased
'Cause
skin.
when it was first
How do we
announced, there was a lot
stretch
of,
the
oh
skin
god, really?
out
You're
to
making a
make it look
mobile game
really
instead of Diablo 4?
uncomfortable? We take different parts of the body and then we twist them in very uncomfortable, awkward ways.
Oh, the artwork
we
is so
love
good,
using
though.
different humanoid bodies
Like
and then almost
grotesque,
melting
but so
them
good.
together. The intention in creating Diablo bosses is to instill a general feeling of unease. So if it starts to feel like we have pushed it too hard, that's usually the comfort spots.
We have so many different representations
I
of
really
evil
hope they
and
all have
horror,
psychiatrists
so no matter
on
who
speed
you
dial
are, no matter where you're
sometimes.
from, you can always
Some
bet
of the art team,
that there is
like,
something in our
oh.
game that is going to terrify you.
So we have many different kinds of bosses in Diablo Immortal. Bosses that are almost too big for the level. They're not mobile. You only see the top half of their bodies. We have tanks where the main goal is to just get this
Playing
big,
that on
giant
such a
hunk
small
of
screen
meat
as a
and
phone, alright, you can
beat
probably
up
play it on a
until
tablet as
dies.
well, but
We
on a
have
phone, are you
co-op
really-
bosses that are, better with friends, working together as a team to really take on these puzzles that the bosses present. And then we have mind-bending
Can you
bosses
play on
that
PC as
really
well?
change the way you play the game, what your perception is of the boss. But my favorite boss in the game is the Butcher.
Bringing the Butcher into Diablo Immortal was quite a journey for us because it is such a beloved character in the Diablo lore.
When I was playing Diablo 1 for the first time, there was this shock associated with encountering the Butcher. You open the door, he steps out, he's cleaving you very, very fast. You're like, I've never seen anything like this before. What the hell is happening? I'm dead.
We wanted the
die.
Butcher to be the real Butcher from the first Diablo. So it was kind of like, how do we bring him into our game?
Oh, wow.
And what can we make more special about this particular encounter?
Our Butcher is super intimidating. He's a gigantic boss, towering above the player.
This is a Butcher that was basically too angry to die. He's just shoving his guts back in. He's got the chain that he throws. He's got the rush. He's got the fire coming out of the ground. And it's just a fun, nostalgic fight.
If you say so. The Dark
We've been building
Rebirth.
towards this encounter with Diablo since the launch of the game.
Diablo is the Lord of Terror. His food and drink is the fear of other beings.
He has this very recognizable silhouettes with his giant horns on his head and also down his back. He has this very intimidating
you see him and you
smile
know
that is
it's
signature to
Diablo, don't you?
Diablo having a World Stone shard means he's entering the nuclear age. He is now walking around with a weapon of mass destruction to bend reality, to perhaps create new realities.
The whole team is excited. It's electric. Getting to bring back Big Red and then unleash him, not just on one boss fight, but on an entire zone, on Sanctuary itself.
This Diablo is going to deliver a very epic experience, as good as any other Diablo games.
But it's going to be the best Diablo ever. I said it here first.
It is going to be possibly the most difficult battle in the game ever.
Because you're playing on a phone. It says Battle.net, so does that mean it's on PC as well?
I'm not just talking about our guests here, but joining us once again, this time to tell us more about what we just saw. We've got Diablo's GM Rod Ferguson, and please welcome Diablo Immortal's executive producer, Pei Wen Yao.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining us, Pei Wen.
Thanks for having me.
What the hell was that all about? Are you kidding me? That's got huge implications for the lore of Diablo, because you're bringing him back.
So I'm assuming that there is a lore of Diablo that they
I don't think everybody really
flow
knows
through in
what
each
Diablo
game
Immortal
and
is,
it
really.
all
So let's start
connects
with
and all
there.
that stuff.
Okay, fair.
I think Diablo Immortal, the way to think about Diablo Immortal is our free-to-play
I'm just looking
offering
to
in
see what we
Diablo.
might
It's a
have
way to
next.
bring
We've
more
done
players
Forza.
in. We wanted to go where the players are, and we were like, okay, not everybody is part of the
We've done
mainline
Overwatch
Diablo
2.
4 world. So this is a way to reach players where they are. And so we have this
We've basically
great
done
free-to-play,
Diablo now.
huge
Might be
campaign over
Stalker
11
next.
zones. You get 8 classes. We just
Something a
added
bit more
2
interesting.
over the last 2 years.
I need to watch the half-hour Stalker documentary as well.
With the Blood Knight and the Tempest, our new classes. And so it's really an exciting time. And so the story, the campaign, which is, again, over these 11 zones, is basically you're working with Deckard Cain to beat this demon Skarn. Now, what's happened is that this takes place between
Cain is a
Diablo
name, I
2
know.
and Diablo 3. So that's why Deckard Cain's still alive, and we're able to bring
Between 2 and
Diablo
3,
back.
right,
So
okay.
it's a really exciting time, and this is what this whole year has been leading up to. This is
I can feel my
the
legs
year of
seizing
the
up.
age
I
of
need to
unmaking.
move.
This is the return of Diablo, and they've been building towards it for like over the last couple of years now.
Yeah, totally. I think, you can tell Diablo is very, very major character in the Diablo franchise, and we have that on
He's the named guy,
splash
right?
screen all the time. So I don't know if it's a plan, but this is truly the most important chapter of the story, that where it starts. And Diablo is very, very significant because it's one of the original antagonists. It's one of the 3 prime evils. So I think
There's
in
so
the
many
history of
hats. I'm
Diablo
assuming they're either
story-
selling them or giving them away.
Diablo story, Diablo world is Diablo has this
I want a
reputation
fedora
of
now.
corrupting people's minds, corrupting humanity, and
It's on a
twist people's
phone.
minds. So when it comes down to the word, that means something is really
I guess
going
I'm
down.
just a snob.
So what
I need
does
a
that mean
bigger
for the
screen.
people
Maybe it's
who
my
are here
eyes.
at Gamescom? Do they get to experience that now? Or what
I
experience
like
have you brought for them?
nice
on the booth?
graphics
Yeah,
and
so
the best image
Well,
possible.
first of all, we're really honored to be here, Gamescom. Like Rod mentioned, Diablo Immortal is our
Mind you, I think my
first
phone
take
screen
of
is a
mobile
better
version
quality
of
than my
Diablo
TV, so-
world, on the phone, on the smartphone. So our mission is to reach more audience, and that's why we come here at Gamescom. Today we brought into a beautiful booth right here.
That's great.
Yeah, this is
It's how
one of
much
the
of the
most
screen is
important
taken up by the
content and
controls
gameplay
in
in
the
our
HUD?
game called the Heliquary Boss. So Heliquary Boss in our game is basically it represents your power. It represents your power progression because all those bosses are your power gates. You have to beat them
It's cool,
in order
though.
to get
It's
to
a
the
cool
next
design.
difficulty level.
Ah.
So as you go through the game, you will feel you're getting stronger, and you're going to more difficulty level. You get more stuff, the loot and the dungeon and the zoom. Most important thing about Diablo Immortal is that we want to create this very sociable, very lifestyle kind of gameplay. So for Heliquary Boss, you can actually you can either play a solo, or you can bring your friends over there. And that's what we bring here. We built a tournament that 4 players come in to the booth and they can play, and you can just rank on the leaderboard and get awesome rewards.
Yeah, you have to beat 2 bosses, so there's like the 2 phases. You have to beat 2 bosses, and right now the fastest is about 2 minutes 45 to get through.
Think I got a shot?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, thanks.
absolutely.
Thanks.
No, I know you play a lot. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's right.
But anybody can do it. But it's really interesting, like that what Paywan is talking about. There's been over 50 bosses made in this sort of these Heliquaria bosses, and it's really exciting to see. You know, it's part of the progression. So it's always fun to have these new and interesting and different types of fights to have. And the fact that it's on mobile, but also on PC, like you can play free to play on PC today, and it's just
it's
a
on
great
PC,
experience.
right?
So players at home can also still experience the Heliquaria bosses right now, or is
yeah.
Same
right now.
content, same game, and cross progression, cross play.
So tell me about then the build up to Diablo's return. What can players expect to? What kind of content can they get into right now and in the lead up?
I suppose for free-to-play
dropping?
games like this, mobile games, you need to put them on PC as well.
Next few months, it's
just
going
to
to
grow
be,
the
like
audience.
I said, it's going to be the most
Is it based on
exciting
free-to-play
story
game?
chapter
You'll be
of
buying
Diablo
cosmetics
Immortal.
and things.
It's going to divide
It's based on
into,
that.
like the main quest line,
You know, the extra purchases and the loot boxes and all that
We're going to keep
stuff.
them in the future, but the latest one that is going to come up is in September. It's a release we're going to call, we call it Crucible of Justice. This is where the story we're going to review a very, very powerful weapon. It's called the Eldrim. It's a holy sword. And the player is going to go through the mission, the quest of purify that sword, and that sword is the secret weapon to kill Diablo. So you have to find the sword and purify it, goes through the ritual. And for player, the ritual, you know, I think if you play Diablo Immortal, you know, player is the hero. Player, you play the hero, you save the sanctuary, you save the humanity, but the sanctuary is corrupted, it's dark, and that darkness casts into players as well. So the ritual of purifying this Eldrim is actually a symbolic move of player that they willing to sacrifice themselves for the humanity, and that they want to prove themselves to be worthy to use the Eldrim, the holy sword, to kill Diablo.
Just give me,
so that
give me
is
loot.
the first part of
just
the
play for
September
loot.
release.
I don't care about saving
And then we're
people.
going to save the second part
I just
to
want
the
loot.
December, our holiday time, and we're going to release the second part, which is the most exciting part, that you're finally going to face the Diablo. And with the Diablo boss itself, we also introduce a amazing zone. It's called the War's Crown. You know, zone is one of our very, very important content in the game as well. It's beautifully designed. Not traditional concept of beautiful, but it's...
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard the word skin used so many times. I'm a little concerned, but I'll trust you guys.
It fits the word. It's beautifully designed. It's very dedicatedly, you know, created, and it's icy. It's barren, and it's that way is because Diablo travels through that continent and transforms the place. So it's like very depressing. You know, all the cast coming down to the earth. Well, that's why, you know,
That's
players
exactly
are
what
here to save,
I want in my
save
games.
the world.
Although that's exactly what you want in Diablo.
And when player
so.
travels through this War's Crown, you're going to encounter a lot of enemies. You know, you're going to defeat them. Eventually, you're going to encounter Diablo as the final boss.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know Tyrael. Like Tyrael
Yeah.
is like, when you think about like recognizable characters in the Diablo lore, Tyrael, the Angel of Justice, is one of the top ones. And so this is what's really neat about the story, is that it takes Tyrael's sword, Eldruin, and that's the sword you have to use to defeat Diablo. And so that whole idea of, hey, while I've been fighting Skarn and getting these World Stone shards, I've become corrupted and I have to get purified over in the Cold Isles so that I can actually be worthy of this sword. And taking that sword and then being able to use it against Diablo is just a really cool moment.
I mean, you said in the video as well that this fight with Diablo will be the toughest fight players have ever. I mean, is that true? What are you possibly throwing at us? Because you also just showed us like a 20-foot butcher.
I get that they're giving us a lot of info on this.
What's he going to do to us? Anything you can share there?
Yeah. Oh well, I'm gonna see how
But
much
they've spent
I'm
the last half hour talking about
here,
the
but,
Diablo franchise.
Yeah, Diablo boss is going to be the hardest one that the player gonna encounter, because Diablo is such a classic
Have
character.
they not just
so
had-
we
no,
still take
it
a
was
lot of
QuakeCon,
the
wasn't it?
classic skills from Diablo. So
They just
you know,
had.
it's still featuring fire, lightning. So if you go to the battle, have some equipment, have some gears that with the fire and lightning resistance will be helpful.
That is a pretty cool transformation,
yeah,
though.
and because
Real
you're bringing
creepy.
the Eldrim to the battle, right? So when Diablo calls all his Diablo soldiers, and they will swarm over to you, and you have to beat them really, really fast, and that beat up of those enemies actually gonna recharge your Eldrim. It's gonna make the Eldrim ready to, you know, make it good use. So yeah, and by the end, hint, the real end.
Oh, come on.
The real end, you're gonna see this beautiful cinematics. It shows how Eldrin, player take Eldrin and eventually kill the Diablo. So.
That's
yeah.
all so exciting. I can't wait to. Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to go and set a time on the booth to make sure I get a chance at that leaderboard. But I want to thank you both.
Win, so we have the Inaria statue, you know, the really big one that's the size of the
Yeah,
You know, I want it.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna fight me for it. I'm taking it.
I can't. They're gonna kick me
That's
out.
what we're doing straight afterwards. We're all going down, yeah, and I'm going to come out on top, all right? Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Gamescom as well. Coming up, though, the team from Stalker 2 is here with the latest from the sequel, Heart of Chornobyl. Sick.
Nice.
Plus, we've also got a look at the newest Xbox accessories that are enabling players everywhere to play the way that they want. And later on, we're going to explore the newest Starfield expansion, Shattered Space, and find out why fans everywhere are setting aside gigs of space to explore even more.
Really fun, like
this
the
epic
British
open world.
Fallout.
But first, do you know what's great? Xbox Game Pass. Yeah, take a look at this.
Welcome to the
Is this stuff
gameplay
that's
commentary
coming
of our
to
new game,
Game Pass?
Lonely Mountain Snowriders, which is the spiritual successor to Lonely Mountains Downhill.
I'm real tired.
It's a skiing game in which players
coffee
need to
isn't
find
kicking
their own
in.
way down the mountains in a wild and beautiful mountainscape. Our most
It's a nice
important
design.
new features
Like,
are a real-time online multiplayer in which up to 8 players can play cooperatively or in a competition, as well as a new trick system that allows you to pull off awesome-looking flips,
Fairly stripped back.
spins, grabs, or super cool combinations of them all. We focused a lot of the development time on the controls and to make the feeling of carving down the slopes as smooth and fun as possible. Skiing is all about using the terrain in your favor. You need to gain the maximum momentum to do the longest jumps and use the best shortcuts. On top of that, you can also do tricks, ride backwards, or
He's
cross
dead.
rivers and
Go
mountain
down.
lakes.
Ski down.
The game features 4 different game modes. The online multiplayer racing mode is all about crossing the finish line first.
Doesn't. I'm
While
not a
in the
big
team
fan
mode,
of skiing.
You and your team members have
If
to
I ever
ride
went
into trees
skiing, I'd
together
probably
to
break one
ramp
of my
up the
legs, if
highest
not
scores
both.
and beat all the challenges. You can also pick each other up after a crash and place checkpoints as a group.
That's kind of cool, though, that you can checkpoint and stuff and revive each other. Adds an element of cooperative stuff to it. But then you are stopping, so you could just carry on and leave them.
In the solo mode, you have to beat challenges to unlock new mountains and trails. You can also try to reach the top of the leaderboards, or beat your own ghosts. This is the mode that will be most familiar to players of our previous game. And last but not least, there's the new Zen mode. Here, you can ride all trails without any kind of pressure and freely explore the mountains to find secret spots.
I
or
appreciate
just
the art
enjoy
design.
the
It's not
beautiful
necessarily
landscape.
something that I love, but
Whether
the
you're
world
playing
itself
multi or
looks,
single player,
despite
you will
it
gain
being
experience
predominantly
to level
snow,
up your profile,
looks varied.
unlock new ski types and trick poses, and a large variety of customization items.
Cool.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
So is that coming to Game Pass then, or not? When's Call of Duty out? Avowed is next year. We're going to get more of Avowed on Friday. Minecraft on Game Pass. Indies. I think Indies looking really good. The proof will be in the gameplay. Oh yeah, right. Games joined last year, didn't they? I really want to know when the other Call of Duties are coming to Game Pass, because I haven't played one in about 10 years.
The Xbox Game Pass hype is real, and right now it's easier than ever to join the party, especially if you play on PC. Why? Because PC Game Pass is designed for PC players. Get new games on day one like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on October 25th. Play some of the biggest games
October
of the
25th.
year and unlock
Cool.
partner benefits from Riot Games and EA Play. And if you're not already a PC Game Pass member, join now and get your first month of PC Game Pass for $1 or €1.
Oh, I have got it on the
This offer
list,
won't
right,
last
okay,
long,
cool.
so act now. But first, this post-apocalyptic horror action title is set against 64 kilometers of eerie, explorable area. It's also one of the most anticipated games
This
of
is
the
Stalker,
year.
right?
And here to bring us back into the zone
Must
with
be.
some never-before-seen gameplay of Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, please welcome game director Eugene Grigorovich. Eugene, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting.
No, honestly, it is so exciting. We've got it on the booth here at Gamescom. I've been able to get hands on. I'm so excited for you to take us through what you've brought with us today. But how's your first Gamescom?
The previous was a year ago when we bring our demo, which was shown just on the PC.
Yeah.
And
Oh, they did have
today
a
we are
demo,
bringing
didn't they?
another
Yeah.
demo, which will launch on Xbox Series X. And from our experience, it's looking very good. And we are happy
Good.
for what we bring here. And
Like,
what
visually,
we get
everything
the
I've seen
first
looks
impression
pretty
from
good.
The players and the press. And for now, I'm happy.
I don't know anything
for
about Stalker,
what they are
but I am looking
telling
forward
us
to trying it.
about the Xbox build.
Yeah, I got to have hands-on with it, and it is so
I don't know when
much
I'll
fun.
try it, but-
Because what we're going to do as well is we're going to hop straight into the gameplay that you're going to talk us through. So anyone watching who's excited to see Stalker 2 for the first time, if they haven't already, can see what they're going to be
How
getting
have you
their
missed
hands
it?
on.
It's
what are
looked
you kind
so
of-
good. It's been pushed
are we gonna
around for a
bring
while.
the gameplay up, so we've got it on our screens. So as we go, if you want to talk us through this gameplay,
It does
so
look good.
we can know what we've got coming up.
Yeah. I'll take this part. So here the player is doing his first quest, and he got a scanner, a device. Player at this point doesn't know a lot about how it works and what
Yeah.
it's for. He just gets information that it's somehow
press buttons. That's
recharged
how I
and
play.
artifacts that put it inside it, and that
I'm blurry
if
again.
it got
This lighting is
successful,
not good enough.
it's gonna bring a lot of let's say money.
gonna have to tweak my
maybe
setup, I
something
think.
else. So at this
Down the
point,
line.
player don't know what is the goal of the character, why he's doing it, and he's learning the story about your character also by doing this quest line.
Because
So
this
it-
is actually the bit that they've got on the show floor here, isn't
Yes.
it? At the start of the game.
It
'Cause I had
sounds
so
like
much fun. I
they're
get
gonna
what
go
you mean as
over-
well when you're just trying to discover what exactly it does, and the storyline sets that up.
Yeah, it's gonna introduce
but
you
what about
to
the combat in the
what
game as well? Because we
the
can kind of see
actual
our
world
first
is.
fight here.
Yeah. So it's a group of bandits. They were resting just nearby in their camp and doing their cheeky-breaky stuff. And then they saw that something happened. A wall was destroyed with a huge noise. They just turned up going to see what's happening and found you, a player, and
It's
I can't actually see
amazing
them,
as
which I
well,
suppose
'cause
is a
I
good
found
thing.
myself when I was playing this, I was like the flashlight turning on and off, and like you can also like lean round corners, can't you, to kind of like engage fights from like a bit of cover.
yeah. So it's very important in this game to have a proper tactics. You should hide a lot. You should use your
Okay.
med kits. You should survive grenades, because AI is very pushing and challenging.
Yeah.
They're trying to outcome you, to go from other side, and it's pretty
Interesting.
stressful. So it's a first fight. It's a very
Stressful.
simple fight
That's
against
not what I want from my
three
shooters.
bandits, but as from what we can see, it's often lead you to several deaths.
It's very unforgiving as well.
Boomstick.
And we just see as well, I found that it's like a big part of the game is like looting. So what kind of
Nice.
things should
I like
people
a
be
good
looking
loot
out
session.
for when they're looting?
Yeah, so the part of the game, so while we are fighting, we are losing our resources, consumables, food, ammo, and after the fight finished, we have to get through
The food looks okay.
dead bodies' pockets to find some ammunition, maybe loot their camp to restore what we just spent, because without it, we just run out of
So
ammo.
there's a big
and
survival element to this then.
the player would be like stuck.
Because that's the big thing I have. I am very trigger happy when it comes to first-person shooters. Like, I fire way more bullets than I should. And then I found myself as well. I was like, I need to go check every building that I can because I need more ammo. Like, what kind of advice would you say for players hopping into Stalker 2 to spend their time in the world?
So the reason why you should discover and look for some stashes in locations is not because you just want to find some items, but because it's interesting to discover this abandoned place where was some living some time ago, and where is some story behind it. And when you are just walking around and looking for the corners, and it's beautiful there, you can surprisingly find something stashed there, because it's an Stalker stashes. They use some stashes for their next journeys, because they can bring like hundreds of thousands of kilograms. They have to make some stashes for there, and players sometimes find them, and it's often rewardable, and often it's very rewardable, because you can get a huge equipment boost by just going to some building you didn't expect to find anything there, but it could be there.
That's what I found. I found myself like an assault rifle when I just had a pistol to start with. I was like exploring buildings and found that. But the game also, it looks amazing.
Yeah, this is the start of a next fight. The player, we have some stealth mechanics.
Yeah.
So it's not very...
Not for me. I don't stealth.
As you used to have a stealth in the game, it doesn't offer you like ability to be invisible for enemies. No, they will
Seems like you take a lot of damage.
But at least it allows you to get slightly closer.
Damage over
to find
time?
better position to start the fight, and or maybe to initiate the fight with the grenade, so it would be easier for you. And then the fight is pretty challenging.
Yeah.
And you have to watch your hit points and your state, because you could get bleeding, and you have to use a bandage to stop this bleeding.
It looks, like you said, you've got to use tactical and be smart and stuff.
And you're gonna lose a lot of hit points if you
this
don't
looks.
stop.
This isn't your hold the trigger down Call of Duty style of game, is it? This is something
The
else.
bandages to stop the bleeding, but there's like different types of med kits that you can find as well.
You can have a regular
Oh, that
med
sounds
kit
too much
and
for me.
medical med
That
kits
survival
and an
thing,
army
I
med
don't.
kit.
Yeah.
I don't get.
And they provide additional boosts, but mostly it's restoring the hit points. But also, if you are not in the fight and you just need to recover a small portion of health, you can just eat.
It looks interesting. It's an interesting world. I don't know much about it.
See, that's what I loved as well. I found like there's so much resource management that you have to like pay attention to as Stalker, which really gives you a different challenge. So it's like you said, if you don't eat,
much more survival-y
you're going to
then.
perform worse in gunfights.
Yeah, so you have to watch about your state, just like you're watching about yourself. So we try to bring this simulation or atmosphere as you being the real human that goes to Chornobyl exclusion area with your backpack, with some food, and you just have to do the same things to survive in the game as in life, because you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to like you fall, you broke your leg, you have to use some medkits to survive this, and that's what we are doing
very
here.
survival.
Yeah, no,
Very survival.
Honestly, like it's one of those things. I'd recommend it to anyone if you haven't had the chance to just play the original Stalker as well, because when I got to play here, you just think and approach gunfights so differently, because there is that risk element, and some of the enemies. Like, I was jumping out of my skin because there was like a camouflaged opponent that I came across in the demo here at Gamescom. And like, can you tell us a little bit more about the enemies that we're going to face?
Yeah, so the zone is inhabited by different factions. There are factions that came from the first Stalker trilogy, and there are new factions, and they have a
you can
story
modify
behind them
weapons
of
as well.
how they appear, what is their goals. And for the player, it would be interesting to uncover and discover these stories. And it's important to mention that from one walkthrough, the player won't know the whole story.
Yeah.
So you to have several walkthroughs to get all these pieces together, or you could discuss it with your friend who choose some other path, and you can share the information about what you see to each other, and you uncover, oh, I didn't expect that it would happen like this. So it's, for me, I find it should be interesting for people to discuss their experience with each other.
Yeah, we also saw.
The world looks amazing.
We actually see
doesn't
the scanner going on right now. Can you talk us through this?
It's echo scanner. It's a simple scanner. You just beep, and the faster it beeps, the nearer is an artifact.
Yeah.
You can collect an artifact just by using scanner, and at this point, player faced that Bloodsucker. It's a canonical enemy in Stalker series. He has an ability to become invisible for player, and we found that from the feedback of the players and from what we see that he's doing quite challenging thing for the players, and but also it's very rewarding because when you start playing the game and you start facing some challenge for the first time, you may die, second time you may die, but after it becomes easier for you, and at some point you become master of the game. Everything is easy for you, but it takes time to learn the game.
This terrified me. Like, honestly, I was there going like, wait, at first I was like, what's attacking me? And I was like, how do I counter this? And I was like, suddenly realized there was a camouflaged opponent attacking me. It's like, I love that in this game though, is there are so many challenging enemy, like, components. Whether you're fighting bandits, whether you're like, fighting these sort of enemies. And then I was like looting everything. I became like a loot goblin.
Can you get stuff
where
from
I was going into every building and just trying to find as many med kits so that I could stay alive.
So I'm guessing the character's bleeding there because his health is slowly dropping down.
Pieces of content just near the locations. This is not a main quest. It's often not a side quest. It's just some encounters or narrative little stories to bring you an experience of discovering this real location, real zone, and it's not a fake
The loot
world.
thing, it almost has like a Fallout
small pieces. Yeah. And for
kind
me,
of wasteland,
I find it very
but
interesting
full-on
to
survival
even if I know the
vibe.
game pretty much.
Obviously much
still
prettier.
The world map is so huge, so even for me, going back to some locations make me feel, oh, I didn't expect to find it here. Oh, they bring something here also. So for me, it's also...
So there's elements of exploration
like,
is huge.
I feel the same wow effect when I discover something for me.
You really get rewarded for spending that time to look around the world and kind of try and find those caches, and it's going to pay dividends.
Interesting. The more I see, the more I'm interested in it.
One of the main
but I also
goal
I'm
making
not.
this game is to
My
bring
brain doesn't function with the survival sim
freedom
stuff,
and,
so that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to play. We'll certainly be showcasing it on the channel in November when it comes out.
She wants to be.
I don't know if we'll do a full playthrough over on Todd Plays Games, but we'll definitely play some of it.
That works for them, and the player could like start being very rude and cruel, and they can act totally different in this game as like a player who wants to be on the friendly side. So there are a lot of freedom. It's rewarding. So even being cruel is rewarding, but there is a balance. Like the game will also punish you for something.
No, 100%. And I think one of the main things is for everyone who's been watching and wants to get their hands on the game, when are they going to be able to play?
It's November, so it's not so much time left. And for us, we are like every day counts. We are doing everything possible to bring this as polished gameplay as possible, and I hope you enjoy it.
Well, honestly, from what I played at Gamescom, I can't wait to play it more. But thanks so much for stopping by. You can get Stalker 2 Heart of Chornobyl on November 20th. And of course, it launches day and date on Xbox Game Pass as well. But now to a new line of Xbox accessories, making a splash here at Gamescom. Take a look. But thank you so much, EJ. I appreciate that, mate.
Thank you.
Play video games.
Good job.
Leo has issues with his motor ability. He doesn't have access to a lot of things.
There's so many disabled people that deserve a shot to be like everyone else.
I want to be a part of this world.
So this is my Xbox
nice.
adaptive joystick.
It allows her to use the controller without using both hands.
It just
That's
clicked
cool.
to him. This is a joystick. I manipulate the character, and this is how I'm going to move myself.
You've got every button covered.
Wow.
This is my thumbstick topper. You can get different sizes, and this is what
I love that they're doing stuff like this. They're trying to make controllers and things more accessible.
You can get bars from the Xbox.
It reminds me of the
lineup.
Wii.
Then you can go somewhere else and get it printed.
Be yourself, design it how you want. You're playing with your Xbox controller.
That's cool.
Right side, right side.
With the Xbox controller assist, when he needs help, when he gets stuck, I can at least hit the gas for him. Then he can control the rest. Having the joystick levels the playing field for him.
Your character, he can fly. He can do everything you can't do.
He enjoys winning and will definitely let you know when he does.
Big news for all gamers
That's cool.
everywhere. We've got
That is
some
cool.
new accessories designed to give gamers more ways to play.
The
And here
adaptive
with
controller
all the
that they
details,
did a couple of
please
years ago
welcome Xbox
was
principal
apparently
designer
really good
Chris
as well.
Petrovsky and senior accessibility product manager Caitlin Jones. Welcome to Gamescom.
Thank you for Maxie. Yeah, thanks for having us.
How's Cologne treating you? All good?
I love it here. Yeah.
Amazing.
First time in Gamescom. This is pretty exciting.
Oh wow, first time.
Yeah.
Okay, the full week ahead of you. I can't wait for you to see it.
It's,
so I can't believe the Xbox Adaptive Controller launch is
ambidextrous
6 years
controller,
ago.
isn't it?
But you didn't stop
Was
there.
it 6
so
years? Wow.
What's new in the world of gaming and accessibility?
Wow.
Yeah, thanks, Maxie. So as you saw, we just announced our Xbox Adaptive Joystick. It's a wired controller that is designed to be a companion for our Xbox Adaptive Controller as well as other Xbox controllers. And that will be available to customers in 2025, early on in 2025 as well as our
Lots of
Xbox
different options as
Adaptive
well.
toppers that you can create with Xbox Design Labs. And these are really great, I think, especially for
This
players
is where
who might
3D
have some
printing and stuff
difficulty
like that
using the
comes in
thumbsticks
as
on their
well.
controllers. They can choose from different shapes, customize the sizes, the height, and the width, and attach them to their adaptive joystick as well as their Xbox Wireless or Elite Series 2 controller, and really customize the way that they interact and grip with those thumbsticks on those
That's
controllers to meet their unique needs. So overall, we're just really excited to continue to expand the ways that players can play the games that they want to play and also how they want to play. But it doesn't just stop with our Xbox accessibility offerings. We also have some really fantastic partners through our Design for Xbox program, including BioWave and 8bit2, who are also announcing some exciting accessibility news today.
And with everything in your line of work,
That's
the
cool.
feedback
Like,
from the
it's-
community is crucial.
I love
and
that
the
we're in
gaming
an
and
age where they're
disability
trying to make it
community
as,
was also instrumental
obviously it's money driven.
in
Like,
feedback
let's
for
not be
creating the
silly.
joystick. Can
This
we
kind of stuff
hear
is,
more about
is
that?
Yeah, that's
how
a
can
great
we expand our
question, and
profits? Oh, well, what if we
certainly
just
at
made it so that
Xbox,
more people
we
can
are
play?
firm believers in the saying nothing
But
about us
they
without
actually
us,
put the money
meaning
in, they
we
design these
do not
products, they
create
test them
accessible
properly.
devices or
And even
features
just having the
for the
thumb
disability community,
topper
but
things, the
rather
thumb- the
we need to
joystick
create
topper.
them with the disability community.
Such a simple
they are
idea that is
collaborators and they're
personal
the
to
experts
whoever
in their
needs
own
them,
experiences and needs.
3D
So
printed,
from very early
probably
on
doesn't take
with
that
the
long to
adaptive
do.
joystick, we had our
Why would you
disability
not do
community
something
be
like that?
hands-on with early designs and functional prototypes, and I know Chris will share a little bit more
Oh,
about
that's
that on the
cool.
hardware design side. But even from a
Multi-use.
software perspective, you know, we really heard from our players that they wanted an affordable joystick for their adaptive controller so they can easily find
Nice.
that and have that as a resource to them, but also something that fit in seamlessly with their existing setups. So we knew it was important to create something that was highly customizable. You can remap all of the buttons on the joystick, you can create different profiles, you can connect it to your Xbox adaptive controller for a full adaptive setup, but you can also use it without your Xbox adaptive controller. You can plug it directly into your console or PC and use it alone, or employ Xbox Controller Assist to link it with another controller and kind of play that way. So all in all, the disability community's involvement is absolutely critical in everything that we do, and we're so grateful to have them as co-collaborators and designers in these processes.
So many options. So how did the community feedback inform the final design of the adaptive
wondering
joystick?
if you can...
Yeah, like Caitlin mentioned, we're always looking for that feedback.
Switch
and for this
style,
device in particular,
can you run two of them?
We actually visited a hospital in Seattle.
So instead of having a controller,
that uses
you just have your hands free.
as therapy for some of their
all the buttons are there.
spinal injury patients. So what that means is we went there with a box of prototypes.
Maybe.
Got feedback on the grip size, the shape, the number of buttons, where the buttons were located. They liked some of the stuff, they didn't like some of the stuff, and that's exactly why we're there. One of the most important things that we took away from that meeting was the importance of having the controller be mountable. Lets you put it in a lot of different positions, hold it stable if you're not able to hold the control in your hand. So we added this threaded insert here that's the same one you'd find on a camera tripod or actually on the adaptive controller as well. And so that really allows you to use non-hand body parts with the controller easily. So we took that feedback and then used it to iterate on the design.
Wow. And just curious, how does that process look like of creating? Do you 3D print prototypes? Do you mold? What do you do?
We do both of those things. Usually, I like to start making something that goes in your hand by making it by my own hands. So we'll take a block of foam, carve that away. We'll take a 3D print, add clay to it, and then sand it away. And I'm doing this in the design lab in the workshop in my garage.
Final product may differ
and we're just really
from
iterating
that.
constantly to get the feel right, to get the ergonomics right, the position of the buttons right. We usually start with a very primitive form and then add those details throughout the design process.
So
one of the other things that's really important from my perspective as a designer, and this maybe sounds obvious, it's an Xbox controller. It should look like an Xbox controller. So many of the adaptive products that gamers have to use, they might look like hospital equipment or something you have to use rather than something you'd want to use. Like Xbox makes cool products. We want our gamers to want to use the products, and so using the same form language, the same color material and finish really helps it feel like a part of the Xbox family, and that goes a long way in removing some of the stigma that's associated with using adaptive products, and that's a really important thing that I think design and Xbox brings to the table here.
Yeah, it looks very well next to the adaptive controller, traditional Xbox controller, so good job. Good job. One question. So I heard the rumor that the idea of the 3D printable topper files came from an internal hackathon event. Is that true?
That is true. Very similar to the Xbox adaptive controller years ago. The adaptive thumbstick toppers were born from a hackathon project. So a hackathon is a week where Microsoft employees get to take a break from their day job and work on a passion project. And this particular team was inspired by really the high cost of adaptive accessories and doing custom setups like that. So knowing that 3D printers are a lot more available for at home or as a service, they combine these two ideas to create a great range of products that offer gamers a lot more options to customize their setup just exactly what they need.
Design the file and then you download it and have it printed separately, or do they print it as well?
The creation of these accessibility
They must print
offerings.
it as well.
And especially, what did the development for the 3D printable files for the adaptive thumbstick toppers look like? Who did you work with?
Yeah,
They
very
must
similar
print
to
it,
the
yeah.
adaptive joystick and all of our other accessibility offerings. We, again, partner directly with the disability community, specifically a lot of hospitals and gaming accessibility charities that were doing a lot of 3D printing work. So we worked with them directly and kind of
I suppose
just
the
asked,
implications
what
of
are the
3D
most
printing
common
in
shapes
this
and
kind of way
designs that
is
you all are creating
again
or that you
huge.
find work best for your players, and that's actually what informed the final 6 shapes that we have available today. So very direct, working with them and getting that feedback. Something that we also learned, though, by working with them is that, not everyone needs a full-on adaptive setup. sometimes just minor modifications to how you interact with your thumbstick can be the difference that allows someone to play longer, more comfortably. It can also be the difference whether you can play all together. So based on that, we did want to create something that was available, discoverable, and easily customizable for customers, because through working with our disability community, again, more and more learnings nonstop, it's always coming in. We did learn that, not everyone has access to easily connect with these hospitals or these more tech-savvy maker communities or charities that are customizing these designs and
Says
printing
3D
them. And
printer
also not
required,
everyone
so
at
you just
home
get the
knows how
file.
to 3D model and customize their own shapes at home. So with the Xbox Design Lab platform, it's as simple as picking your shape, using sliders to adjust the height and the width of those shapes, and you're given a free 3D printable file that you can then take to a printer if you have access to. You can use a 3D printing service, and it's as simple as customizing from there with no 3D modeling knowledge required.
I love that. But what I love more is
That
that
feels
you
like
not
fairly
only
big
support
barrier
the
to
community
entry.
with creating accessories, you
Because you've got
also
to take
support
that file and then
partners,
get it
third-party
3D
developers
printed.
in bringing their designs to life. So can you share a little bit more who you're partnering with?
I wonder.
Yes.
I wonder if that will
And I will
change
say,
down the
I
line.
am just personally so grateful and excited that we do have so many Design for Xbox partners who are just really committed to making gaming for everyone. Some of the specific partners that we've been working with recently on the accessibility front are BioWave. So back in May, they announced their Proteus controller, which is a modular controller that allows you to really build your own unique setup that works best for you. And very exciting today, that controller is now available. In addition to BioWave, 8-Bit Do is both announcing and available today their Light SE wireless controller. So all in all, when it comes to accessibility, a rising tide floats all boats, and we're just excited that our players have more and more options within the Xbox ecosystem to really choose what works best for them.
That's
Yeah, 100%.
a lot of great news that you have today. So
It's
is there
good.
any
It's
place
really
where you can
positive
look
that
up
they're
all of
looking
the
at this stuff and
accessibility
trying to
offerings?
make it as inclusive as possible.
To find out more about any of this accessible
It's
hardware,
if,
that
like,
we
if
just
I
talked
didn't
about today, you
game,
can see the
I would
Xbox Wire
be a
blog
mess.
post.
It's my
Or if you
release.
happen to be here at Gamescom like us, you can visit us in the Here to Help area in the Xbox consumer booth. You can get hands-on with any of the products, do some live demos, and if you're here on Friday, you can see Caitlin in a discussion panel in the community area as well.
Thank you so much to both of you for coming. And also I want to say thank you so much for making our booth accessible so everybody feels welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Maxie.
Yeah.
Coming up, we'll get a look at the first expansion from Starfield.
Yeah, it's good.
Find out what happens when nuclear disaster and the quaint British countryside converge in Atomfall. And Age of Mythology fans, stay tuned. We'll take a look at what you can expect from the latest in the series. But first, it's time to explore ARY26 once again in Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Yes.
Nowhere to poop.
I didn't know that they were doing a sequel. The first one was so good.
Extreme Learning Smartbot from Hot Whiz.
I smush it down my throat.
Our new Ding Dong.
Greetings, brave explorer. We here at Alta Interglobal would like to welcome you to our newest venture, the colonization of space. You've spent almost a century hurtling through the universe in cryosleep, ready to begin your work on this strange alien planet. Unfortunately, changing market conditions have led us to the realization that space exploration is far too costly and unpredictable, and Alta has decided to cancel all future plans in space.
We saw this trailer
I
last
regret to
night.
inform you that you have therefore been made redundant. Your final check has been sent. We thank you for your service, and we hope you eventually find a way home. Good luck.
Oh, it was so much fun. I don't think we got this look at it. This gameplay look. I love that it's co-op as well. nice. Split screen. Hopefully, that's what that means. Sandworm. Yep. Always the way. Single player, online co-op, cross-play, split screen, no DRM, no microtransactions, a load of other stuff. Yeah, it's cool. Like I said, the first one was so much fun. Sometime somewhere in 2025. Nice.
What started as a journey to the
Nice.
savage planet has turned into revenge. Here with more on what fans can expect from Revenge of the Savage Planet, please welcome producer Noémie Lecourier and creative director Alex Hutchinson. Thanks so much for joining us.
We're very happy to be here.
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Thank you.
How's your Gamescom going so far?
Very good.
Very good. Busy.
Yes.
It always is. There's so many games
Is
to
it
play. So
playable?
many things
It can't
to
be
see.
playable. They've
But
only
Alex,
just announced
it's been a
it.
journey getting here, and not only to the sequel to fans, but also to evolve the game as a whole. Can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty crazy half a decade for not only us, but for the entire games industry. So we originally began as a studio called Typhoon Studios. We made Journey to the Savage Planet. We were acquired by a large multinational. The pandemic happened. We updated the game, and on the day we shipped, that same multinational made us all redundant. So we found ourselves sitting around trying to figure out what to do. But luckily, we decided to reform. So we're a new studio, Raccoon Logic. And we've made this new game, Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Yeah, and Noémie, can you kind of talk about the world that we live in with Revenge
yes.
of the Savage Planet? Have we got the gameplay that we can push up? But
before that,
I think Alex is going to talk about
Yeah, so
about
before that.
Yeah.
So obviously some of the big changes are that we've switched to third person in this one. It's still, a
This
game about
is-
exploring
yeah.
the world, interrogating everything that you see.
These-
It's filled with
these
wonderful,
interviews
wacky,
aren't
weird
amazing.
creatures. It's 4 planets now instead of 1 planet. So there's lots more to
Oh,
do
wow.
and lots more to see.
Yes, so we basically can survey, scan everything, and collect and catalog. Here, as you
it
explore
was
the
first
world,
person,
you're going to
wasn't it? Yeah.
discover rewards, things to collect as well. The rewards are blocked by encounters with alien creatures, as well as puzzles and navigation challenges. So lots of fun here.
Yeah.
It looks so cute. Like even the trailer, but in the trailer beforehand, it's like all the creatures. It's like adorable.
And you know it's a sequel when you're swimming.
Just
Yes.
it happens every single time.
Every
You've got to
time.
add water
Second
in. If
game.
you go in,
Yeah.
no water.
Exactly.
Second time thing. But Alex, there's obviously a ton of creativity by the team to produce an incredible world, but perhaps players' take on its obstacles can be equally as creative. So in the world, like how are players going to approach the obstacles that they face?
Yeah, so we've taken a really systemic approach to open world design. So it's still a Metroidvania. You're still being blocked by different obstacles. You need to go back to your habitat and upgrade your tools to get through them. But what we wanted to do was have a Metroidvania where there's a single lock, but multiple keys. So you see different types of objects. Say if it's a cracked wall that you need to blow up, you could do it with a grenade. You could find a creature that explodes. Anything that generates an explosion will get you through. And so hopefully, as you see in this video, there's a little bit more systemic chaos than most games of its type.
So there's lots of creative ways to kind of like solve the problem.
Exactly.
So you can have a bit of fun with it, and every time you play it as well, you're going to get those different experiences.
Exactly.
Another way players can make their game their own is through customization. You know what I mean? Can you talk us through customization?
Yes,
Oh, cool.
absolutely. So we've added tons of new outfits in the game. You can mix and match between the different outfits. So whether it's the helmet, the boots, or the gloves, all the outfits are inspired by sci-fi themes, famous like Star Trek. Here we can see some of the suits here, as well as like Power Rangers. So
If you put on the red shirt, you get killed immediately in the game, but you reprint.
What have you got wrong with the red shirt?
It's just a trope. It's just a trope.
you also
Nice.
have a habitat where you will find all the main modules, like you see here, the PC.
It
that
feels
you will
like
use
a
throughout
real
the game.
sequel.
But there's also another section that you can fully customize with lots of things. So as you explore the world, you will find Alta crate containing Alta bucks that you can spend in the Alta store on furniture, accessories, and basically a lot of useless junk to really make the space your own. So I hope players have a lot of fun with that.
Lots of customization then.
There you go.
Just lots of stuff from Gamescom will kind of like come with me. By the end of it, I'll have plushies for days. But co-op is such a big part of the game as well. Can you kind of talk us through that, Alex?
Yeah, so a lot of the team members have worked on different two-player co-op games, whether it was Army of Two or Far Cry 4. We've had a lot of success with it. We think it's an intimate way to play with your best friend, your partner, your kid.
So that's quite
and this
a pedigree
time we've made sure you can do
co-op.
it in any way you can imagine. So there's not only network co-op, but there's split-screen co-op. You can play on the couch and even cross-play. So you can play on any system with any other system.
I love playing split-screen games as well. Like, I grew up playing with my brother. Like, every single game that we get our hands on to do split-screen, that was always the way I went and played.
Perfect.
Yeah, also, it's so good you've been able to return to this franchise and bring tons to the fans. This game looks so fun, it feels like fun and went to create it. Alex, can you tell us what you think the magic is for this game and what makes fans love it so much?
I think it's humor. You know, you see a lot of games that are very grey, very brown,
It definitely
very
has
serious.
that
And we
comedic
wanted to get
element,
back to a
quite
world that was
slapstick.
fun, that was upbeat, that was optimistic. We like the idea of exploring space because it's fun and you're going to find something exciting. You're not going to find Matt Damon on the moon, you know, eating poop mushrooms or Mars. So, like, hopefully people see that the humor in this is in the gameplay as well as the script, you know? That the joke we always tell is that, you know, I can write a one-liner that's funny once, but slapping your best friend to their death off a cliff is funny forever.
Yeah, you can just kick them off in as many creative ways as possible. Like, just trying to get through that cracked wall. But also, really importantly, when a player is going to be able to get their hands on the game.
So it's going to come out sometime next year, 2025. For more info, you can go on the website, Savage Planet
We're going to keep
Game,
an eye on that.
and wishlist
I might play the first one again.
Do.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't wait to come and have a go with it as well. So thank you so much for joining us as well. And have you got any final words as well that you want to share with fans?
No, we just please wishlist on whatever platform you like, and we'll show you some more gameplay soon.
No, honestly, thank you so much. But coming
you.
up,
Looking forward to
we've taken a spin in some new wheels and a turn with a new story in Starfield's first ever expansion, Shattered Space. But first, check out an action-adventure
Let's
game
hope
about
this is
hope,
good.
robots, and the power of words. This is Dustborn.
We need to
Right, why do I remember this game?
We need to be a crew. We're on the run from people with space guns built into their arms.
Dustborn isn't about making the big and immediate choices. It's about the little things that add up over time. The
I
words
remember
spoken that affect relationships and moods, the decisions
video
that
in the
stick
car.
with you and play out when you least
Did you get pulled
expect
over by
them to.
a cop or something and had to
Actions that
choose
push
how
your
to respond?
relationships in new directions.
I guess this explains why you're suddenly so eager to chase after the robots.
Oh, keeping secrets again, huh?
It's about making tough choices.
Is it music
about
based?
how to deal with the people in your crew, how to manage them, and pull them together to do the job, and to make the compromises necessary to reach the end of the road and your own personal goals.
We'll be taking a different route north, through Liberty, Oregon. Before
Liberty? I would actually like an explanation.
I concur.
Think of the game as a way to write your own comic book as you play. Each chapter or issue starting with a new cover displaying what you're about to experience, and each of them ending with a comic splash screen. These pages present key choices made in the previous issue that could have an impact later on. Whether a dialogue line or event plays out because of a choice made by the player, an icon will appear in the top right corner of the screen, allowing you to really get a sense of what could have gone differently.
Stop it! What the hell, Pax?
I remember the cop, yeah.
In the comic splash, you'll have access to more data, such as global stats about how many other players received this particular consequence, allowing you to gauge how popular this choice was.
A little bit of
Some choices lead to
Telltale
crew mood
vibe to it.
change, which can have an impact on your relationship with them, but also on their personal endings.
Are you just gonna hover?
We didn't finish our chat?
No, we were finished.
I'm worried about you, and I had more to say.
I'm sure, but I was done.
Every key crew member in the story receives one of 3 endings, or codas, based on choices made and actions taken by the player and PAX. Each coda is illustrated
You
by
really
a
are
comic
telling
book
your
style
own
splash
story.
screen, along with unique dialogues and events reflecting each character's current status. The player can at any time access the character codex to see which coda is the current favorite.
The crew respects you.
Does that not
When
give
you're
the
unhappy,
ending away?
They feel it. I'll keep that in mind.
Whenever a dialogue choice or action affects a coda, the screen will display a coda emoji, along with an animation that tells the player how important this choice was. It'll be up to you to decide how the road trip goes and how your relationships will evolve. Will Noam break away from their on-again, off-again relationship with Pax, or embrace it? Will Theo loosen up with the crew, or favor his boss status? Will Ziggy resolve her sister issues with Pax? Discover how it all unfolds in Dustborn. Available now.
What's the name of your band?
We're the Dustborn.
I mean, it looks interesting, that kind of choice-based mechanic, but
a most dreadful
it didn't.
Nightmare, truly.
I remember it because it was distinctive. I don't remember it because it wowed me.
The fortress of stone and valor, which I struggled to build, is now slowly crumbling into ruin. The land caught in a perpetual autumn.
Is it? It's not. No, it's not Avowed. Avowed is Friday. It has a real Elder Scrolls vibe.
Deep within the horns of the south.
But it's not Elder Scrolls.
A shield, now weakened and cracked by time, fails to protect my people. A profound betrayal has befallen those most loyal, yielding only despair. I am left paralyzed, powerless.
Oh, the cheeky bugger got shot with an arrow, then took a potion.
My people.
That's not allowed.
My legacy. Everything is collapsing.
I love the visual style.
They hailed me as the once and future king. Only now do I understand the horror of that title.
Tainted Grail, the fall of Avalon. Interesting.
It's one of my
Graphically, it didn't wow me, but the art style was really cool.
And it's just got its first ever expansion coming up. Here with more on Starfield Shattered Space, please welcome lead creative producer Tim Lamb. Hi Tim, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Nice to meet you, Bex.
Awesome, it's lovely
Okay,
to
let's
speak
see what
to
they've
you
got
today.
for Shattered Space.
So let's chat opening night live. We had a really fun look at a very vibey trailer about some vehicles. Could you tell us a bit
New
more
car,
about that?
Yep.
I can.
Can you customize
we
the car?
released the Rev 8. Super excited. The team is so happy to have this new element that adds to planet exploration in the game. So
It should have been there
we
from
have
launch,
these
to be
dynamic
fair.
worlds with dense terrain, lots of very interesting obstacles, and like now those worlds are our playground to drive around on.
Heck yeah.
We have a lot of, in navigating that, we have vertical boost, forward boost, we have a weapon on there. It's like a lot of different minute to
I
minute.
have a weapon, cool.
Just like fantastic gameplay opportunities for players.
Yeah, super exciting. And Vasco looked like he was having a good time
Yeah,
as well in the
yes,
back there.
yes,
Love
yes.
that, love that. Now, let's talk a
reminds me
wee
of the
bit
Mako.
about the story in Shattered Space. It's very dark and mysterious. Could you tell me and everyone watching a little bit more about the story?
Yeah, so I think there's a hopeful optimism in the giant sprawling adventure of Starfield. You go to a lot of different locations, you meet a lot of different types of people,
That's
the cast
not
of
the
characters
vibe I
there.
got,
And
I'll be
Shattered
honest.
Space, that tone, that mood, we were able to sort of distill it down and focus it into a location in the game around Dazra City. So like we get to meet that new house room, the people there, there's a moment of strife that
That's
they
cool,
had.
because they hardly touched
we
on
get to
in the
experience that with them
original
now.
or the
Yeah,
main
they
game.
sounded a bit intriguing, shall we say, in the footage that we saw last night. So can you tell us a wee bit more about the House of Varun and kind of who will be coming across?
So, I don't want to, no spoilers.
Sure.
You encounter a derelict star station, and this starts you on your adventure to meeting the Varun. You end up in their home world, Varun Kai, in the city of Dasra. There's been a catastrophic event. You deal with the minor houses of the faction of House Varun to sort of uncover the mystery of what happened, and then, resolve it as you do as a player.
Nice.
There's lots of choices in there for you.
Okay, very interested to find out what that story kind of leads us
like
on to
Starfield.
as well. Very good. Along with that story that we've been chatting about, there are some new game features as well as a huge new planet that we can explore. Could you tell us a bit more about those too?
So we have the city of Dasra. We focused, all of our effort has really been focused on the area around the city. So I think the beauty of it is that there's exploration, that you can find nooks and crannies in the game or little secret discoveries or locations you feel like, I know I'm coming back here. So there's like an excitement there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. Oh, so
He's not actually giving us anything, is
I
he?
mean, even in the trailer, we saw kind of a very summery, beachy vibe cruising around on our Rev 8 too. Have you taken it for a spin?
I have, no, I do. And I think Shattered Space is like a fantastic playground for it. Now, you can take the Rev 8 to any planet.
Yeah.
You can take it into Varun Kai, Varun's homeworld, and drive it there as well. But like we support, I think that's one of the great things about our games is we always support any type of play style. So it's like you can play with it, you can play without it, you can take it to Varun Kai, you cannot take it there.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll definitely be taking it for a spin as well when Shattered Space releases.
I've got to be honest, I haven't seen anything there that's made me think, oh, I need to play Starfield again.
Coming out. Anything we can look forward to?
You can. I think you can look forward to an interesting story, a handcrafted world, new weapons, new gear, new items that sort of alter the way you might think about Starfield.
Amazing. Well, Tim,
I've never
cannot
felt that
wait to
Bethesda's
play it as
stories
well.
have been
and
interesting.
everyone watching at home as well, be sure to check out Starfield Shattered Space, launching September 30th
I
with
believe
Xbox
it's
Game
a
Pass.
£30.
Thanks again for chatting with us.
I don't know what that is, $40
now, next
maybe.
up, we're exploring, scavenging,
Cost
and
for it?
hopefully surviving
So if you
the
do want
harsh
it,
world of
it's a
Atomfall.
paid expansion.
But
You've got to
first,
buy it. It's
let's
proper
build a
DLC.
dungeon.
But we'll see what they add. Because I just didn't connect with the characters. I felt it did, I don't know, maybe the gameplay was a problem and there was just a lot that I didn't connect with Starfield, which is a shame because I played a lot of it and it did pretty well on the channel, you know, lots of people were interested in it. But there's also a lot of people who are like, it's kind of rubbish, which is a shame. And we'll see. I'm going to have a look at the rover. And I think we'll have a look at the DLC at some point, but I don't think it'll be on release. There's too much else to play, too much that's actually got me excited. I love this retro music. This is really cool. ZooTube. LIGN. Wow. Let's build a dungeon game dev simulator. Wow, that
Hi
looks
there,
mad.
I'm James, the designer of Let's Build a Dungeon, a game development simulator that's coming to PC and Xbox next year. We previously bought our game Let's Build a Zoo to Xbox Game Pass, so it's exciting to be back here sharing news of our next game. Today, we want to share a closer look at our multi-layered management sim, and also reveal some brand new features that we've never talked about before.
Okay, this is interesting.
Let's Build a Dungeon is designed to simulate every aspect of running a games studio, and that starts with designing something your virtual players will love. You get to decide which quests to put in the world, and whether you want to focus on a traditional RPG built around magic and combat, or something more cozy like fishing or running monster farms. And if you want even more control, we have an exclusive new mode to share with you. Creative mode is our sandbox, but it's a sandbox quite unlike any other. Not only do you have access to literally thousands of assets, buildings, and characters, in Let's Build a Dungeon, you can also tell your own story. We are developing a series of easy-to-use tools that lets you create almost anything, from a production-level dialogue editor that lets you create branching conversations, events, and rewards, to a full AI editor that lets you adjust anything from attack probabilities to spawn rates and weapons. We even have a tool that lets you draw your own pixel art characters, which will then automatically animate them for you.
This
Our
sounds
goal is
more
to
like
build a suite
your
of
keyboard
tools
and
that
mouse
gives you as
game.
much control as we have when building our games. Games made by the community will be available for download, along with some titles made by developers like us here at Spring Loaded. Adding these tools felt like the natural extension of our game development simulator. Why stop at building the most detailed game dev sim ever created when we can add elements of a game engine to give you a full, authentic experience? Hopefully, this short overview has given you an idea of what to expect from Let's Build a Dungeon when it ships next year.
Wow, that sounds really interesting.
Windscale, the pride of Britain, nestled in the picturesque Lake District.
This is going to be good.
The state
I
of the
really
art
think this is going to be good.
has transformed this rugged landscape into the envy of its northern neighbors. Scientific progress waits for no one.
Windscale. Everything changed when that bloody atom plant went up in flames.
League of Gentlemen, oh god.
Citizens of Wyndham, there has been an increase in bandit activity outside the village walls.
Temporary quarantine, they said? It's been bloody years.
They're hiding something from us. Something terrible.
It feels like a British
My
Fallout.
name's Molly. You got out to trade? I got bits and bobs for sale.
Oh, it looks so
Please
good.
be careful. It's more dangerous than you can possibly imagine.
Detected.
Okay, so it's very Fallout. Oh, coming March? Oh, that's pretty soon.
It's mystery mixed with folk
Amazing.
horror weirdness, all set in a not-so-idyllic post-war British countryside, and believe it or not, it's based on a true story. Really? Well, here with more on Atomfall, please welcome Creative Director for Rebellion, Ben Fisher. How you doing, pal?
How you doing?
Welcome to Germany.
Thank you.
First time here, or?
Been here for Gamescom before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not with a game quite like this, right?
No, let's talk about that, Ben. Actually, you're right, Henry, because this is a huge departure from Rebellion's most famous series, let's call it Sniper Elite. Can you tell us about this sudden change of pace here?
Sure. I mean, it's similar and it's different in different aspects of the game. So we always value sandbox exploration.
Rebellion
giving
did the
players
Warriors game, didn't they?
freedom in their objectives. But at the same time, this is a survival action game with some sort of RPG-ish elements. There's skills, there's crafting. The story of the game unfolds as you explore. It's kind of a mystery
This
game.
game is singing
tonally
to
quite
me.
different to Sniper Elite.
I love the exploration side of it. I mean,
Yeah.
from what we just saw in the quick trailer, that there's a lot going on. It's not just one sort of trope that you're sticking to. There's a lot to unpack. So maybe as we're checking out some gameplay that you brought along that we can experience, we can jump into some of the influences that have made it into this title. Because, like I said, it's a lot going on here, man. So
There is.
let's
That's
check
what I
out
like
some
about
this,
it. It's a
this
mix of
gameplay
all
as
kinds
well.
of stuff.
Got to start off with a post box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are
I mean,
we?
it's on your T-shirt as well.
Yeah.
It must be quite
Ah.
a core feature of Atomfall, I assume.
It is actually.
Oh.
So, as you explore the world of Atomfall, you're uncovering a mystery. You're discovering what's happened in this post-apocalyptic quarantine zone in 1950s north of England. Different characters will ask you to do things for them, and they might help in return. And one of the characters that you can interact with is this mystery phone voice. You don't know who they are, you don't know what they want, and you have to choose which characters you trust and don't trust in your exploration.
Kind of like Bosley, Charlie's Angels vibes coming through the phone.
Yes, exactly.
I like that. That's cool. You know, speaking about the story, Henry, you mentioned it earlier. True story. What is that about?
Yes,
Cumbria, isn't it?
It's based on real-world disaster that happened. The first major nuclear disaster in the world was in Windscale plant in Sellafield, so 1957. We wanted to use that as a jumping-off point for a story. So Jason Kingsley, one of the owners and founders of Rebellion, observed that there are lots of games that are kind of like post-atom storytelling, like post-atomic disaster storytelling, but none set around this first disaster that's happened in the world. So we took that as a starting point and then thought, what's a Rebellion kind of interpretation of that kind of event? So, like I say, we value that kind of sandbox exploration and player freedom, and then combine that with the sort of unique Britishness, and that led to the environment that we've got.
It definitely feels like they've
captured
that British vibe.
Mystery that you uncover what's happened, and as part of the process of building that game world, we looked back at 1950s storytelling. So references like the Quatermass series, which is one of the very earliest sci-fi serials, or like early Doctor Who, and things like that.
Wow.
So, like UK TV Gold kind of cultural reference points that even if people don't know the reference itself, they know the influences that came from it. And at the time, there wasn't a clear distinction between like folk horror and sci-fi and those kind of stories. So it's a blend, it's a natural blend in the storytelling style of the 50s.
And of course you have to chuck some cricket bats in there for good measure. I mean, the combat's pretty crunchy, right? I mean, this is, like you say, a bit of a departure from Sniper Elite, which is typically long range, but in here we're getting right up, even the fact that it's first-person camera as well. Like, these are conscious decisions you've made, so why did it feel right for Atomfall to treat it that way?
So in the case of Sniper Elite, you are an elite trained sniper. You know, Carl Fairbairn's like a human sniper rifle, right? He knows exactly how to fire a shot miles to take out that one guy. This is a different character in a different situation. We wanted it to be a mystery, so there are no signifiers of age, race or gender for the player character. They're wearing gloves, so you don't know who they are. Their backstory is part of the mystery that you may or may not uncover as you explore.
Oh, wow.
We wanted you to feel more like it's not so much a war zone as a pub crawl. You're desperately attempting to survive. There's not much ammo around. The guns are all rusty because everyone's been trapped in this quarantine zone for 5 years. You're mixing melee and ranged combat. You can throw your melee weapons. You can kick people to make them stagger back. We wanted you to be constantly, desperately mixing options and scavenging desperately for resources. So there's a real kind of tension as you play, which is very, very tonally different to Carl, who's calm and controlled and reads an entire situation before he decides what to do.
I think we can definitely get on board with the pub crawl element.
My entire playthrough is like, it's a scene from Kingsman, basically, and it's gonna feel good. It's gonna feel great.
Talking about Kyle and, you know, that he's an iconic character, what about the characters in Atomfall?
So is Sniper
Elite... character isn't maybe so much
it's one guy.
focus,
the whole game is just one guy.
Are there other people that we're going to meet that...
Like each sequel is the same guy doing different missions. I've never played Sniper Elite.
I need to have the right answer that doesn't spoil too many things, but as you explore the game world, different characters will ask you to help uncover the mystery of what happened in the Windscale plant and maybe ask you to do something when you get there. And if you do that for them, they might try and find you a way to escape this quarantine zone, or they promise to. So as you explore, you've got to decide who you trust and who you don't trust, whether you think they're telling the truth or trying to manipulate you, whether you believe the same things as they do. So it's all murky shades of grey. There's no good guys and bad guys, and it's all completely open to the player. So you could theoretically kill every character in the game, and there's still a way to finish the game. You could theoretically play through and kill no one, and there's other routes available to you. So we really pushed hard into giving the player lots of options and lots of rewards for
clearly doesn't have a gun, so
there's lots of tropish characters, lots of
surrendering
kind of characters that fit this world of being north of England and also being 1950s, 1960s culturally.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, as a fellow Scot, Ben, really quick, are there any maybe Scottish people in there that we can look forward to meeting? I'm sorry.
Spoilers, yeah. But what we have done is we've taken like 1950s sci-fi, 1950, or like old-fashioned folk horror type trope characters. And,
oh wow.
Cold War scientist trope characters, and you'll meet those kinds of people as you explore through the game, and then still decide whether you trust them or not.
Okay.
So we got pub rules, we got.
To be fair, I'm ignoring a lot of these questions and just watching the gameplay, listening to his answers, but the questions are a bit rubbish.
How big is it as well?
Okay, well, what Rebellion excels at is these deeply packed kind of sandbox maps. So the way that we've structured Atomfall is a series of like 5 or 6, depending on how you count, sandbox maps like the one you can see just now. And you can travel freely between them at any time. They're all thematically very, very different. And then there's loads of interiors and like large-scale, story-driven locations that you might uncover, as well as bunkers that are full of loot that you might find. What we wanted to do is really lean into that densely packed kind of puzzle box. So I've spent all day watching people play the game, and no two playthroughs have been the same. People can approach it all very, very differently, get different experiences. As you explore the game, you'll find leads as well. So we don't have a kind of quest system. We've got leads that you piece together clues that help you understand what's happening. So we built this puzzle box, this sandbox of interconnected options for the player, and then we just let them go for it. They might find a difficult, dangerous place and die, but we signpost very clearly that it's a dangerous place, and then it's kind of up to them what happens.
That's right. I love a puzzle. I'm buzzing.
Yeah.
We're great at solving them
This is obviously going to be a slower pace.
We could work on it.
Exploration-y thing.
You just said that there'll be leads that players can follow. Tell us a bit about how they're equipped to do so, because we just saw like literally pulling out a metal detector and taking part in that great British tradition of finding some old coins or whatever it could be. But what are the other ways we can do that?
Yeah, so you might find a lead that someone's hidden in a box under the ground somewhere. They've a bit of storytelling around it to draw the player in and make them try and understand how it fits to the game world. But there's also characters that you might find in the world. There's friendly characters that you can barter with, and they might sell you or rather trade something with you which has a lead in it. Or if you do some trade with them, they might get friendly to you and give you a lead. You can also have conversations with characters, and if you choose the right choices, you might get some more information. It really is about exploration, isn't it? The way that we've approached those is the same kind of high-stakes player freedom. So you can get the conversation wrong, right? You're not working your way down a list of conversation topics until they grey out and then moving on to the next one. It works more like a real conversation. So if you judge their personality wrong and say the wrong thing, they might shut down and stop talking to you, and you've pruned a chain of leads that you might otherwise have found something interesting in the game world. So you're always having these influences and layers that you may even not notice are there.
That sounds so smart. I can't wait to dive into that as well. That's so cool. I understand there's some crafting elements in that as well, and also, metal detectors, scavenging. Can you tell us what that kind of looks like in Atomfall?
Sure. So the player's desperately trying to survive and finding materials to help them survive. So even if they find a gun, there might be 3 bullets for the gun. So they can find materials that let them craft things to help them heal or help them in combat, so Molotov cocktails and makeshift grenades and things like that. So you find yourself trapped into a corner and you can make these resources that help you survive. Like I say, we're trying to make sure that we find this sweet spot where you feel kind of desperate as you're trying to survive. We want you to use everything that you find. We've made sure your backpack capacity is quite limited as well, so you're really pushed to make these difficult choices and decide even whether you want to engage in a fight or not, whether you want to avoid it entirely. You want to choose the right moment and try and take out 5 guys with a Molotov. And it's all really, really high stakes, but it makes it very rewarding when you manage to pull something off.
It looks like our player right now is making a horrible decision by going into a restricted area. Already seen a ribcage. I mean,
I mean, so
this is going to go great.
Like I mentioned earlier, if you're heading into somewhere difficult or dangerous or scary, we make sure and signpost it. So if you go into a place like that and then you die, you go, oh, I should have guessed. There was a skeleton outside.
Yeah, that one's on me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm very good at ignoring red flags, so we'll see.
Sounds like fun.
And
sounds
in
like
terms of the player's progression,
a very
then,
quirky
so you're making all these
experience.
decisions, you're making friends with everybody, you're crafting your gear. What about skills, anything like that in the game?
Sure. So there's a range of skills that help reinforce the player's ability to survive in this dangerous world. So there's a chain of skills that are for melee combat, ranged combat, There's sort of durability skills that mean you can take more damage and survive in dangerous areas. And then also abilities that help your overall survival, like disarming traps and things like that. So really we wanted to keep it grounded so that there's always that sense of threat and pressure, but we wanted to give you some advantages. So you might learn a skill that lets you throw a melee weapon, and if it's bladed, it'll stick in targets and things like that.
Oh, nice.
Just to help give you that edge over the course of the game. As you can see in this location here, they're in a kind of dark and then scary interior. So we've got the player's progression, but then there's also a kind of game world progression where they're uncovering a mystery. So quite literally, they have to push deep into the world and into the underground of the world to find these dark and scary places. We try and keep it tense the entire way through the game.
I was going to say, because there
It
is the
feels
sci-fi
quite
element, but
claustrophobic
there's a bit
at
of horror
times.
vibes I'm getting too. Like, so with us competing with people maybe on a top level, and now we've got into this bunker, there must be some monsters of some kind.
Yeah, we just saw a little glimpse of something scary and monstrous, and as you push into the mystery, you will find more elements influenced by what happened. But yeah, for sure.
This looks
I mean,
really
like
cool.
I said earlier, the storytelling style of the 50s and 60s didn't really have a division between folk horror and sci-fi. There was like a blend for a certain kind of story that was addressing the Cold War, but in a way that wasn't too political, I guess. So, you know, folk horror stories are about the division between rural and urban civilization and how there's a tension between them, and Cold War stories are about fear of the outsiders and others and that sort of thing. And there's thematic resonances between all of these different storytelling styles, which make it really easy for us to push into these otherworldly horror elements as you push into the mystery.
Nice. That's so sick.
Sounds really cool.
We've got quite an atmospheric bunker, like you said, as well. Have you got a favourite part of the maps that you can share us with? Again, nothing. I'm really pushing it here, but any favourite place to maybe have a picnic or anything like that?
Well, actually, there is a favourite secret place which I can tell you about a little bit. So, as the player is starting the game, they're given one lead. A person tells them that the heart of this mystery is a location called the Interchange. So to begin with, you're trying to find this place, and as you make your way in, it's all unpowered, it's been shut down, it's been quarantined, and you push into it and open it up more and more, and it's like an unfurling flower as you find all of these leads that are the heart of the mystery. And the more you find, the more leads there are.
Cornish pasty.
You end up in this kind of like snowball effect.
I love a Cornish pasty.
This has picked up a Cornish pasty.
Oh yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah. Well, this is pre-Greg's era, I suppose. So we'll take all we can get for now.
That's brilliant.
Just don't ask what meat's in it.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
It's really fun for me to see like the
real Cornish, I bet.
Dank bunker we just came out of, and then like the overworld is so lush and vibrant. And listen, I've been to the north of England. It's not always this green, so
sometimes
it
is.
Exactly. I mean, I live in London, and it's just grey all the time. So any green I can get is good. But
it's also the 50s.
Yeah, exactly. So will we see many other types of biomes or environments in the game as well?
Yeah. So one example would be there's a woodland nearby, but it has more of a kind of spooky folk horror-ish tone. As you get into it, it feels more mysterious and occult. And there's a group of kind of pagans that if you tread wrong, they'll cut your face off with sickles, you know. Or you can find a friendly character who's part of that group and talk your way into their compound. So we give you all these different options to, you know, for whichever faction there are, ways to befriend them or get in a fight with them. Yeah,
I like that.
Master Guide.
Very good. I mean, I think we, especially at Xbox On, are super excited for Atomfall and to check it out and maybe even come across ourselves, because Henry and I and Charlie have actually been scanned into the game, which we're very excited to maybe come across ourselves. Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
There's Henry getting his wee...
Yeah, I have to say it's maybe not the most flattering, methods of doing it, but what are you actually doing to me there? Because I just signed something and agreed to show up dressed as a big baby, and apparently that's for something. But
yeah, no,
what
this
did
is
you guys do?
massive
Oh, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, thanks. What is it that you guys have to do to get someone scanned into your games? Because the realism is quite impressive.
That's pretty cool.
So we go through
they've actually scanned
highly
people
detailed scanning process of every angle of your face and different configurations. So we get wrinkle maps and things like that.
What do you mean? I'm perfect.
Of course, yeah. So we didn't bother with the wrinkle maps.
Oh, great.
So they're all assembled by character artists and rigged so they can animate. And then we, in the case of Atomfall, we then put that in a sort of character builder system. That means we can put costumes on the characters. We might grub your face up a bit because, you know, they've been surviving for 5 years without washing machines and soap. And then we just find exactly the right spot for each kind of memorable face in the game.
That's cool.
I'm definitely looking out for where I am. If I'm on an enemy, that's okay. I've always wondered what I'd look like if I had a cricket bat to the face. So this is great. And you're going to be getting scanned in pretty soon.
Yeah. I can't wait. As long as you put some fake eyelashes on me as well, then make that.
I'll make a note. Yeah.
Are you in the game as well? Have you been scanned?
No, I haven't been scanned yet.
Okay.
No. You have to shave a beard off if you want to get.
You had to do that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was just the beard that we had to shave. Right.
Yeah, the rest was optional.
Whoops. Honestly, I
I
cannot
ain't.
wait to play
No
this
one's
game.
taking my
It
beard
looks
off me.
Bonkers. It looks British as heck, and honestly,
I love that British, that weird, quirky
Thank you
British
so much,
vibe
Elizabeth, for stopping
that
by.
kids like
Enjoy
Fable
the rest
have,
of
and that.
Gamescom,
I just love being British. You know, it feels like home.
Taking a little.
That looks really cool. Atomfall is definitely my favourite thing we've seen today by a long way.
Next up, we're going to be throwing it back with some Age of Mythology Retold. But before we do that, we do want to check out some new gameplay. It's Dragon Ball. Oh yeah, Sparking Zero. It's back. Check this out.
Yeah. I'm gonna disappear for a moment because I don't have any interest in this, and I need a new drink. Oh God, where's my camera? I've lost my camera. I'll leave you with the images, so enjoy Dragon Ball.
Hello everyone, I'm Marco Rizzo, Product Manager of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Thank you for joining us today in this exciting showcase. Today we will show you some new and exciting gameplay footage featuring characters that we have revealed during the opening night live. But before that, let me give you a reminder on the 2 single-player game modes that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has to offer: Episode Battles and Custom Battles. First up is Episode Battle. In this single-player mode, you can take the point of view of 8 different characters, including Goku and Vegeta, and enjoy famous battles from the anime. For each stage, you'll be playing through an introduction before heading into some of the most iconic fights in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. The number of stages and battles vary by character.
We're here to take you down. Simple as that.
Next up is Custom Battle. In this mode, players fight in battles that each have their own original scenes. Some battles will also have different victory condition, and some might even have event cutscenes pop up midway, so you'll be able to enjoy battles different from the norm. Using Edit mode, you'll be able to freely set the characters to be played, as well as the pre-battle and post-battle cutscenes, in order to make your own original battle. What you've made will be able to be uploaded and viewed online for the whole world to play, so hope you enjoy sharing the battles and situations that you have created. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. Coming straight from the Majin Buu saga, Ultimate Gohan is our latest addition to the roster. After his rigorous training, he is ready to show his power in an all-out fight against Kefla in her Super Saiyan 2 form. Enjoy!
And we're back. Hey Mike, how we doing? Nice to see you. Not really. There was quite a lot of Diablo earlier, Diablo 4 and Diablo Immortal. Atomfall is looking incredible. But that was about 5 minutes ago. That's pretty much it. Let's see what we've had. Stalker 2 looks good. But that I don't think we saw anything specifically new. We just got a deeper look at it. What have we got? There's only Age of Mythology left, by the looks of it. Yeah. No, not really. And Dragon Ball I'm not interested in, so you know, that can do one. How are you doing anyway? Nice to see you. It just... I think it's a generational thing. I think this came out, or it certainly came to the UK when I was probably too old for it. I don't understand. So I'm sorry, the noise is doing my head in. Oh god. Sorry, Dragon Ball fans, it kind of sucks. There's someone who isn't a Dragon Ball fan. But let's talk about Atomfall. I love the British vibe. I love the northern British vibe as well, the League of Gentlemen-esque. The 50s style looked really cool. Yeah, this game is pure noise. Yeah, it needs to go. Again, cool. There's Dragon Ball Z fans out there that will love this and eat it up, but no, not for me. Are we done? Can we go back to Age of whatever? Age of Mythology. I'm just waiting for all of the squeaks and the grunts and stuff to go away.
Now there is nothing like enhancing a classic with modern graphics and gameplay mechanics. And if that classic feature can feature, you know, new expansions and a remastering of the multiplayer experience, well, in my eyes, it's even better. So here from World's Edge even, to give us the latest on Age of Mythology Retold, please welcome Senior Director of Production, Ernest Yen, and Senior Game Designer, Kristen Perillo.
They've
welcome and prostagma.
Zeus helmets on.
Thank you so much. Now, Age of Mythology, there's loads going on here at Gamescom.
Yes.
In general, there's loads going on anyway. But you also had a pretty epic opening night live. So I want to hear all about that. I want to hear all about the booth. I want to hear everything.
Great. So first, thank you, Jeff Keighley, for showing the awesome premiere trailer that we just showing in opening night live last night. And you showed the story of Athena talking to like the young hero.
It's interesting that they
case,
showed
like,
this and then they showed Civ 7, and I think they're very different games.
And about
but this one definitely
really,
looked
really epic,
better.
Like story that a lot of our fans remember really fondly. So over multiple
Still not something I'm
over 50
desperate to
missions,
play.
it is epic, amazing, and of course the trailer also show off like the new graphics we have in the game, looking really pretty. It is just like really good to see.
The water looks pretty good.
Yeah, and the trailer's been fantastic because it really showcases how diverse each civilization is within myth. We have our Greeks, we have Egyptians, Norse, and Atlantean. They all have their own gods, their lore, the way that they play. There's just so much diversity within
Norse
the
as
gameplay.
well,
It's
but
been really
they
exciting.
really show off the Greek stuff here.
Talking about the booth, yes, we are here, so like people can actually come.
You're just over the back, over there. You're like tucked away over that
right
way.
there.
If anyone's planning on coming tomorrow, it's just over there.
And if you come, you can get like these awesome lightning bolts, like, and also take pictures. So it's like really, really cool. And
It's
by the
cool,
way, this
like
is not the only thing that we have here. So
the crazy
on top
ideas
of
and stuff,
Age of
all the
Mythology
Indiana
Retold,
Jones
we
hats
also
that we've seen
recently
is really
announced,
cool.
Age of Empires
They've really
Mobile.
gone big for Gamescom.
And then, like, if you come by the booth, you can get this like awesome like pop socket. It's like amazing.
I don't think
So
they're the
I
same
do
genre,
recommend
but it's the similar history-focused game, isn't it? But yeah, I think this is more an RTS than a
available globally
strategy.
on October 17th.
Sim-
So it's a
sim
very
builder,
different,
I
very
don't-
new experience that we're expanding Age of Empires
Maybe that's 'cause
to
this
the
looks
mobile
better,
audience.
more
So
RTS.
it's a game built with the awesome Team Studio Group, and they have crafted something that's amazing for the mobile gamers.
Oh, how exciting.
So-
I can't
I
wait to
didn't
see it.
realise that
Amazing.
this
Right,
was
so I know
a
you have
remake.
more news to come as we're talking here today, but the first thing I want to talk about is that this is more of it's more than a remastering, but it's different to a sequel, right? So I don't know, what in the name of gods does Retold actually mean?
Right. So for a few years now, our fans know we have been building these things called like definitive editions. And there's one key goal that we have, which is we want to build the title that's in your head, right? Not because when you actually think about the games that you grew up with and play, like you remember fondly, and so like, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So But when you actually try to play the original for real and look at it and say like, that's not what I remember
this looks
at
trash.
all.
Yeah.
So we want to build the one that's actually in your head and how it looks like, how it feels like. So that's the goal. And yeah, really want to thank the fans for supporting us for so long, for all the different editions. But for Retold, Mythology Retold, we are going beyond what we have done in different editions. So on top of all the graphics and all the gameplay from the original, we actually tweaked it and added a bunch of like new things to it as well, and it is just amazing. So
yeah, I mean, from the design side, from the get-go, we really asked ourselves, how can we maximize our mythology? And so we've, you know, we've got reusable god cards, which you can actually see. We've got our, you know, approachability features like our VPS we brought in from other titles. We've got, you know, more favor-based economy, so you can build more monsters, and our population cap is much higher now. So not only can you build more monsters, you can just build more of everything.
Interesting. Some of the interview questions have been
really everything you've learned so far.
Slightly weird.
Back. And I love the idea of taking out what you see in your heads and then
like,
making that
listening to the developers talk has been more
wonderful.
interesting than the questions, I think. But that's just how these things go. Like, the mix of presenters and things, it seems...
Yes, we have invited them to the booth.
Yeah. Some of them are
also can actually see them.
better than others, let's put it that way.
Here in our booth, so come by, see them. Like, you can see them on screen like that.
Zeus is loose.
Goodness me, where did you find that?
They are amazing. That is so
nice. Oh my goodness me.
Please come by. It takes a lot of work for us to invite them to the booth. So
a lot of convincing.
A lot of convincing.
Beautiful. Awesome. Okay,
I don't remember Zeus having so many tattoos.
So seeing the gameplay that we just saw just then, it's really clear that the team has been hard at work on the visuals. I think you've both mentioned it already.
Yes.
So what can we expect? What exactly does that mean?
So for graphics, we actually have redone every single graphics that you actually see in the game. So like every single 3D asset, every single animations, like effects, all of them are completely rebuilt. So
it still has a retro-y feel to it, though, doesn't it?
It's amazing. The team did really, really good work. But we want to make sure that you also keep the flavor of the original.
Of course,
because again, we want to build a game that people remember. So it's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a labor of love. I will say that much. Yeah,
I feel like it's been coming out for years, but
and we've just made overall improvements. We wanted everything to look and
might not
feel
be
mythical,
right with that.
and so we have, you know, our destruction effects. We support ray tracing. But like Ernest had said earlier, you know, sometimes when we've gone back and look at these assets in 2024, we realized that we had an image in our head that was very different than blurry pixels, you know, wrapped around a sphere. And so we had a lot of philosophical discussions because, you know, the dev team were all major fans of the original. So, I mean, Arcantus was a big one where we were like, would he have a dimple? Or would his chin be more square? Would he have?
I want to be in those meetings, please.
They've been really fun. You know, it's part Rorschach test looking at some of the assets, and then it's like labor of love, and it, you know, it all comes together to make that game that we remember loving and playing.
They've obviously put a lot of
so
passion
I've got
into
right here.
rebuilding it,
Mythology
which is good.
Retold as complete visual overhaul, updated god powers, and larger-than-life myth units. Now, small enough to keep me interested, but is there anything else that you have to share?
Yes, definitely want to say that, remind people, one of the coolest things that we have done for here is that we are releasing on PC and Xbox with crossplay, like at the same time. We have never done that. I can't imagine
playing that on the controller, though.
So it is the first time we're releasing on multiple platforms at the same time.
I haven't played an RTS since Red Alert 2, almost 25 years ago. Red Alert 2, that old.
To the keyboard and mouse player, but to controllerless players as well.
This is the kind of thing that I love Game Pass for, because it's not a game I would buy. It's not a game I really want to play.
Fantastic
but I'll try it.
Console recently, so
stream
those players want to absolutely join you. Now,
just to have a look and see how terrible at RTSs I am.
Today. I know I'm really gripped for this, but what can you tell us about the Freya Gods pack?
Oh, I am so excited to be able to talk about this.
Here we go.
So the Freya God pack really is kind of like a new DLC type for us. And what we really wanted to do was offer the players a new strategy type for the Norse, which is, you know, a beloved civilization from the Legacy game that can sometimes be very offensive in the way that it plays. And so with our Freyr God pack, we wanted to offer a defensive skew to it. So with the Freyr God pack, players will be getting 4 new god types featuring Freyr, who is the god of fertility and kingship. And then 3 minor gods, as well as all the things that they come with, like their myth units and their god powers.
Wow.
That's cool.
Oh my goodness me. That's insane, by the way. 4 new gods. Amazing. Are you able to talk us through each one? Can we do that?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Excellent.
So we have Uller, who is the god of archery, and his myth unit is a Draugr, which you may see in the film here. The Draugr is an awesome myth unit. He's an undead archer, and his arrows can pierce multiple targets, whatever is in his line of sight. We have Aegir, who is the god of storms, and his god power, he has a horrifying hailstorm that will slow everybody down, and it's very frosty. And he is one of the best myth units, which is a rock giant, and if you upgrade him, he can eat buildings, and he will.
God, I love this game.
That's
And
cool.
our mythic age god is Vidar, who is the god of vengeance, very appropriate for the mythic age. And so his god power, he calls upon Fenrir, which is a mythological wolf. And Fenrir is interesting. He has a path of destruction. He'll light forests on fire, and the wolf comes up in a very scary, ghostly manner. And then his myth unit is actually my personal favorite. Another famous character from mythology, Fafnir, who is a very greedy dragon. Everywhere he goes, he leaves like a trail of poison.
Love it.
And if you slay Fafnir on the battlefield, he actually melts into a pile of gold coins.
Oh, wow.
So it's been very fun to make.
I really
and very
love
fun to
how
play.
much you've fleshed out each of those. Like, yeah, that one's going to eat buildings, isn't he? Love it.
It's
So
amazing.
good. Wonderful.
They've
It's
obviously just
amazing.
had fun with a lot of
Just
this
want
as well.
to do a quick
That's
reminder that Freya is going to be part of the premium edition of the game.
Uh-huh.
So if you want Freya and all the people, the major and minor gods, so definitely get the premium edition. And by the way, if you get the premium edition of the game, you also will be able to access the game earlier.
I hate this.
Like,
I
the game is
really
coming out
hate
September
early
4th,
access
but,
stuff.
Like, if you
I
have
get
the
it.
premium edition, you can start playing on
But
August 28th, 7
just
days
hate
early.
it.
Good deal to me. Love it. Awesome. So, as well as choosing your god and battling across this frozen north, what other new content can we expect from the Freya Gods pack?
Yes, so with the Freyr God Pack, there's also a new playable level called Reaganleaf Rally, and I won't spoil it. It's very fun. You'll get the chance to play all of the fun new myth units and god powers and techs I just mentioned. And really the best part of this level is that it does feature one of our villains from the Legacy campaign, Gargarensis, who is just a peach. And it's a great experience.
Stuck
Means
on the penis
nothing.
there. I can't wait to unpack this expansion, but I need to ask you both, Ernest, Kirsten, what dates? I know we spoke them a little bit, but let's go over it one more time so everyone's got them written on the calendar at home.
Yep, September 4th is when the game is coming out. So, but I do want to be clear that the way that we like to build our game, September 4th is really just the beginning. So we will continue to support the game. We'll
That's
continue to
soon.
do updates,
That's-
balance, listen
you
to
say September
consumer
4th.
feedback. And honestly, our players are amazing. They
And
give us
that's
really good feedback,
Space Marine
and then we
2
can
day,
continue to
but-
improve the game.
Yeah.
So-
And part of that is, we have 2 new pantheons coming with playable civilizations.
So what was
And then
the-
we also
what
have
was
a new
the
game
October
mode, Read
date?
of the Gods, which we're excited to talk about soon.
Ooh, how exciting. Well, thank you both so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to make sure I get the pop socket. I'm going to make sure I get whatever these things you're wearing. I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to get them. So thanks so much for stopping by. There are loads more Age of Mythology stuff going on for all types of gamers. But first things first, as Erson said, if you haven't already,
Premium
make
edition
sure you
gets up to
pre-order Age
7
of
days
Mythology
early
Retold
access.
Premium edition to get the Freya Gods pack, 7 days early access, and so much more. You can play early from August 28th, and that is only
like single-player
1 week
games, I suppose
from
it doesn't
today.
matter,
And
but-
that, my friends, is a wrap on day 1 from the Xbox Gamescom booth here in Germany. Join us tomorrow for Star Wars Outlaws, the latest
Nice.
chapter from Fallout 76 Milepost Zero, and
In
then
fact, you know what? We'll pause it there. So this is what's coming tomorrow. We'll be covering this tomorrow. I think it's... Is it 2 p.m. UK time? But today, the highlight for me, Stalker's looking good. Stalker 2 is looking very good. I don't know if it's my kind of game, but it is looking very good. The standout is Atomfall. Atomfall just looks incredibly joyous. Starfield 2 did nothing for me. Starfield 2? What am I on about Starfield 2? Starfield DLC did nothing for me. We've already seen it before and they were just rehashing what we've already seen. Diablo doesn't interest me. The Diablo Immortal stuff was pretty dull. Like, I mean, it was cool, but then it's like I don't really know what they're talking about either. So the character designs for Diablo overall as a universe are amazing, but the rest of it, like, I don't care. Today was definitely, looking at it, today was definitely the worst day, I think. So tomorrow, obviously the standout for me, Star Wars Outlaws. I'm expecting some really cool things. It is out next week if you pre-order the premium edition because of the 7-day extra thing, or 5-day extra, or whatever whatever it is. But it's out very soon. We'll be playing it very soon over on Todd Plays Games. I'm looking forward for everything that we can get, every little detail, every little snippet. I think it's looking really cool, and hopefully they're going to be showing the latest build of it, so it's going to look a little better than it has looked previously. Because you know, the facial animations have been a little wonky from what we've seen. So far, I've only been excited by Borderlands 4, Mike. Yeah, you see, that did nothing for me. It would be cool, but yeah, there's not been a lot announced that's really grabbed people, I don't think. Obviously, we've got Towerborn as well. Towerborn looked interesting. The World of Warcraft stuff, if they have a cinematic trailer, that'll be pretty. And yeah, tomorrow isn't really the big day for me. Little Nightmares 3, I think a lot of people will enjoy. 2 Point Museum could be fun. They're usually quite quirky, fun games. I don't know what Fragpunk is, but I've heard of it. I don't know what it is, so that could be interesting. Mecha Break looked a bit annoying. Date Everything sounds like a romance sim. But the casting of Frank Stone could be interesting. I think that's the Dead by Daylight single-player campaign. Or, like, story, narrative campaign. That could be really interesting. From what I've seen of that looked really cool. And then Day 3 really is the big one for me. We've got Indiana Jones and Great Circle, Avowed, Our History Untold, Space Marine 2, 33 Immortals has always looked good as well. So Friday's really the big one for me, I think. That's what we've got coming tomorrow. We will be live just before. Hopefully you can make it. I'm going to throw some chapters in so you can jump to the interesting bits of what you want to watch. I highly recommend Atomfall. That's exactly the kind of thing that I want to see. And obviously Stalker 2. They're the two big takeaways. But the big one is Atomfall. And the new look was really cool. Shame about the interview. Shame about the questions on the panel. But the more we see of that, the more I'm interested. And it is coming out fairly soon in March next year. So at least there's been one positive of today. I will be back later on over on Todd Plays Games for some Dragon Age Inquisition. We're burning through that campaign. Hopefully trying to get it done before Veilguard comes out. And yeah, keep an eye on the channel for obviously live streams, but I'm also going to be doing some pre-recorded stuff as and when we get some new gaming news, things that I want to cover, trailer reactions that I want to do. So yeah, excellent. Lots of exciting stuff coming, hopefully. Thanks for dropping in, Mike. Enjoy the rest of your day. Everyone else, I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know what your favourite game from today was. I think it's a pretty tough ask, to be fair. But yeah, let me know, and hopefully I'll catch you all in tomorrow's stream. And I'll see you all in the next one.